And hold on, it's 10 o'clock, so I'm going to turn on YouTube and Instagram really quick. Okay, so I was seeking healing for physical ailments. I was diagnosed with fibromyalgia in my early 20s, if you can believe it. And in my seeking healing, I was talking to an energy worker who asked me to tell him about my life. So if you could summarize your life, what would it be like? And I was like, oh, well, I feel like I have been climbing a mountain, in fact, Mount Everest, all of my life. And the further up I get, the steeper it gets. And every single time I think I find a plateau, it's only just a stoop. You know, it's only just a step, and it gets even fucking taller. And all of these lessons are bricks in my back. In my backpack, the more I learn, the heavier and heavier it gets. And this guy fucking straight up, plain faced, looked at me with maybe like a slight raise in his eyebrow and goes, well, no wonder your body hurts. Holy fuck! What? Within our minds, we can use the metaphor of a map. We draw a map. We create a map of how to navigate the world. Through our different tools and tactics and triggers and defenses and all these things, we learn how to navigate the world, and we use this map to navigate the world. But if I have drawn my map on a mountainside, that experience is going to be very different than if I have drawn my map as if I'm riding a boat down a river. And he just said to me, he goes, why do your lessons have to be bricks? Can't they be feathers or bubbles? Why do you have to be climbing Mount Everest? Can't you be strolling through a field of flowers? And he was like, and I just sat there. I could feel all the realization, right, washing over me. And just what a clear mirror, what an obvious clear mirror. And I'm so grateful for that moment, because it brought me face to face with the realization of how much I was creating my world, internal and external, accidentally, unconsciously, right? So that's kind of part of what Tidy Yoga is about, is exploring these spaces within ourselves and how we navigate those spaces and how we meet, oh, I love Edgar Casey, and how we meet these different parts of ourselves, and how we meet our story, and how we talk about our body. Unless we give ourselves the time in between the doing and doing and doing and reiterating or repeating and triggering and all these stuff to listen to what's happening within, if we slow down our experience and our reaction time enough to hear what's happening when a behavior or a thought arises, unless we do those things, then we're going to keep operating within the same map, in the same unexamined framework, and unconsciously steering ourselves right into our own suffering. I've done it. I do it. There's probably plenty of layers that I'm still unconscious of that I still do it with as well. But that is the journey. That is the exploration, right? That is the exciting part, is getting to meet myself, getting to discover within. We even say that this world is so big and is so varied, and there's so much out in this world that you can't, even if you spent a lifetime exploring it, you would never get to know everything outside of you. That's just outside of you. We don't even talk about the converse of like what's inside of you and how long it would take. Lifetimes, sensory. So when we are exhausted, we rest. When we are tired, we rest. If you are feeling overly tired and overwhelmed, then maybe it's time for some rest. Right? We can do this. My dogs, are you guys gonna make a ruckus the whole time we're yogaing? Sir? Okay. We're gonna see if Puppy will play nice out here. Hi, kittens. Kiki. Come here, Mama. Are you okay? Oh. Hold on, I gotta put Mama back. Hi, kittens. Which one are your babies? Which one's your babies? for tiny yoga? Do we really? I guess you're going to yap if you don't. Okay. All right. Come along, then. Come along, then. Tiny beasts. Okay. Sensory, we've met. Hello. My name is Reverend Deborah. And I am your shenanigans shaman, an interfaith minister, a movement facilitator, movement in breath, movement in body, and movement in being. So, we will start class here at 10:10. So we've got 4 more minutes before we start class. Just waiting for everybody to trickle in. Remember, we are live on TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram. Feel free to share the live if you know anybody who may be a little stuck, maybe feeling a little cramped by life, squeezed by life, and may need to make a little extra space. Remember, we have been, for the last couple of weeks, we've been working with the chakras, and this week we're on the heart chakra. So, we are going to be, that is going to influence our flow, and because of that, this flow is going to be a little bit different than our normal ones. Remember that if you, we do have replays. Replays are available for a week after the class on YouTube. After that, they go into an archive that you can buy a membership for. And that's on my Patreon page, patreon.com/move-the-change. We are going to start our flow with the mudra for this week. And this, I'm actually going to offer you 2 mudras because we have the Anahata Mudra, the Anahata Chakra Mudra, the mudra for the heart chakra. And then I also have a very simple one that's also for the heart chakra, but it's not the one for this week. It's just a lot easier to do. So, 10-7, couple more minutes. If you have about 30 minutes to join us and all you need is a place to put your butt. You can be in your car, you can be in your office, you can be on a park bench, you can be on a stool. I was actually going to do class on a bucket earlier and was like, no. We'll go ahead and do it on the chair here. Right? Okay. That's all you need is a place to put your butt and a little bit of room to move. If you can't stick with us through the whole flow, that's okay too. Remember, the biggest thing about these practices, right, is to honor where you are in this moment. So if anything that we do through this flow doesn't feel right for you, choose something else or just sit and relax as we continue and wait for the next thing to come up. Equally, when we are in this space, when we are exploring our inner reality, we want to make sure that we tread lightly. We are not in the business of making a battle within ourselves, because if we create a battle within ourselves, it's a war that we will wage our entire lives. What we are doing in this space is we are putting down our swords. We're putting down the fighting words. And we're learning to meet ourselves with curiosity and willingness in each moment. Whether that be discomfort or whether that be joy. Whether it be fear or whether it be peace. Whatever comes up. And that can be in your body. Remember, if we're moving and something goes, ow! Instead of going, fuck, what the fuck? You can go, oh, hi, good morning. Hello, good morning. If we're going to change the way we speak to ourselves, it's something that we have to practice. Hello, dragonfly. It's something we have to practice. It's something we need to... It's something that nobody else can do for us. Only you can change the way that you speak to yourself. Only you have a choice for how you show up for yourself. So I invite you in this space to take as many minutes of this space that is available to you, that feels good to you, that feels nourishing. And while you're in that space, meet yourself with compassion, meet yourself with grace, give yourself some grace, and meet yourself with curiosity and willingness. Okay. Oh, Citrine, I'm so glad you're reading IFS. I love IFS, but you guys know that already. Okay, so it is 10:10. Grab yourself a place to put your butt. Plop your butt on the edge of your bed, on the edge of your seat, wherever you've got available to you. And for just a moment, let's ground out here for just a second. Bring your knees to shoulder width apart, 90-degree angle, so that your knees are directly above your ankles. And whether or not you're barefoot or you've got shoes on, doesn't matter. I want you to kind of press your feet down into the earth and then release. This is not a push. I'm not trying to like stomp on the ground. All I'm doing is putting intention into the connection between my feet and the earth. Feet and the earth connection. Take a couple of moments to just press in, say hello to your grounding. This is my connection to the earth. I am present in this body, in this space, in this world, in this moment. So let me give you the two options for mudras. We're going to sit for the first 5 minutes with our mudras because, again, this week we're working the heart chakra. And I'd like to address the heart chakra first before we move into our flow. And then we're going to close out with meeting the heart chakra again. So the two mudras. This is let me give you the simple one, okay? The simple one is called the Padma Mudra. The Padma Mudra is the Padma means lotus. So this is the lotus flower. And you can also imagine this as a chalice. So it's simply done by bringing the heels of your hands together and connecting your thumbs, sides of your thumbs, and the sides of your fingers, leaving everything else open. Beautiful lotus flower. And you hold it right here at your heart. This is a really good one for the heart chakra and is a really simple one. So this is one of the mudras. You can choose this one, or you can do the Anahata chakra mudra that we've been working with this week, and that one is done like so. Bring the sides of your pinkies together. Roll them in a little bit and drop your ring fingers to cross. Okay? Cross your ring fingers. Now, curl your middle fingers over the tips of those rings fingers. It's going to look like so. Now bring your pointers and your thumbs to touch. This is the Anahata chakra mudra, the heart chakra mudra, and we hold this also at the heart. We're going to do that one more time. So the Padma mudra is like so. Bring the heels of your hands together, touch the sides of your thumbs and the sides of your pinkies, and keep everything else open. Hold that here at your heart. That's one option. The other option is the Anahata chakra mudra, which is done bringing the palm sides of your hands together. Roll them in a little bit, keeping your pinkies connected, and cross your ring fingers. Make a little X with your ring fingers. Now tuck your middle fingers over, curl them over the tips of your ring fingers. And then bring your pointer and your thumbs to touch. Okay, where's my clock? All right, we're going to sit for just 5 minutes with the mudra because it takes about 5 minutes for a mudra to fully circulate through your energy body. So, reconnect with those feet, ground out, gently close your eyes, and we're going to begin with 3 deep breaths. Begin first by inhaling through the nose, pulling the breath through the lungs and all the way into the belly. And sigh it out. Inhale again, lifting the heart and elongating the spine. And let it go. Inhale once more, expanding the rib cage in all directions, front, sides, and back. Hold at the top. And exhale completely. Go ahead and seal the lips and follow the breath for a few moments. Remember, we're just going to sit here for 5 minutes, and during this time, just rest your awareness on a single point, on your anchor. So it can be your breath. It can be a pressure point on the mudra. Heck, you could focus your attention on the tip of your nose. Doesn't matter to me what you choose. You can focus your connection focus on the grounding in your feet. Choose one thing to focus your awareness on and continue to breathe. Slow inhale and slow exhale, finding a comfortable, steady rhythm. And anytime distraction creeps in, I invite you to meet it with compassion and return your attention to your anchor. So if my anchor is my breath, I'm going to be listening to the breath, following the breath as I inhale and exhale. And when a thought comes up, or a discomfort in my body, or a sound outside of myself that pulls my attention away, I refocus back to the breath. It does not matter how many times I have to do this. This is the practice. Coming back to your anchor. Slow, steady breaths, finding a comfortable rhythm. We're just going to sit for 5 minutes. 2 more minutes. Focus on your anchor. Bring your awareness back as many times as it takes. With grace, with compassion, without shaming or blaming. Anytime you notice any distraction, refocus. Where's that anchor? Bring your awareness to your mudra for a moment. Bring intention back to your mudra. Make sure it hasn't collapsed on itself. It happens sometimes. And then return to your anchor. Allow each exhale to release any tension. Tension itself is a distraction. Bring your awareness back to your anchor. Okay, go ahead and take a big, deep breath in. Hold the top. And slowly exhale as you release the mudra, placing your hands, palms up or down on your thighs. Pause for a moment here and just let your breath settle. Release the breath, release any need to control the breath. Feel your shoulders relaxing. Feel your shoulder blades melting down your back. Lift through the top of your head. Stretching your spine, lifting through the top of your head, reaching with your tailbone down into the earth, elongating the spine. Imagine that just with this intention, your little vertebra can actually separate and create more space. Imagine your spine elongating to such a degree that it creates space in between the vertebrae. You can keep your eyes closed as we move through our practice, or you can go ahead and flutter them open. We're going to move first into the neck. Remember, we're just saying hello to the muscles. We're just warming the muscles. We're not trying to stretch anything or overextend anything. Please honor where your edges are. Take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, gaze over the left shoulder. Just find your edge. No need to overextend. Keep your spine nice and long. Chin parallel to the ground. And come back to neutral. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, gaze over the right shoulder. Find your edge, say good morning. And come back to neutral. Up and down, inhale the chin up. Again, don't flop the head back. Inhale with intention, lift the chin to a comfortable spot, to a comfortable point. Exhale the chin down. Couple more times, this time following the breath. Inhaling up, exhaling down. Take your time, go at your pace. This is about you meeting you wherever you are at. Inhaling up, exhaling down. Come back to neutral. We'll go ahead and tip the ear, right ear to right shoulder. Keeping space, I want you to make sure that your shoulders are nice and relaxed, your shoulder blades melted down your back. You can either, again, keep your hands on your thighs, or if it helps to relax your shoulders, you can let your arms hang beside you. Drop your ear to your right shoulder, allowing a gentle stretch in your left side of your neck. Come back up to center. And exhale to drop the left ear to the left shoulder. If you're hypermobile or you just tend to kind of drop into these positions, I invite you to back out a little bit, like I just did that. Dropping the left ear to the left shoulder, I released the intention and just let my head hang. I invite you to come back a little bit. Don't let your head hang. Tilt with intention. A gentle bow. Come back to neutral. And we're going to go ahead and roll the head. Go ahead and go in one direction and the other direction a couple of times. Follow the breath. Inhaling as you roll up and back. Exhaling the head back down and around. One direction. Just caressing your edges. And then switch. And back to neutral. We'll move into the arms. Again, you can leave your arms hanging if it helps. Move to the shoulders, or you can rest them back on your thighs. Inhale the shoulders up, and exhale them back and down. Inhale, forward and up. Exhale, back and down. Couple more rotations. And switch, inhaling them back and up, exhaling forward and down. And release back to neutral. From here, bring your hands together, palms together at your heart. Take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, turn just your torso, okay? So we're not using any pressure here. With intention, turn your torso to the left. Stop where your body stops. Keep your legs pointing forward. Keep that nice 90-degree angle, shoulder width apart in your thighs. Once you reach your edge, open your arms, placing your front, so we're going to the left side. Place your front arm on the outside of your left knee. Back arm either on the back of the chair or the bed behind you. And we're not pushing, just hold this position with intention. Take several breaths here. Inhale again. And as you exhale, now gaze over that back shoulder, pushing a little bit more into the twist. Long spine, lifting from the top of the head. Couple of deep breaths here. Inhale and exhale to release. Pause for a moment. Let your body come back. Check your alignment, knees, shoulder width apart, knees directly over your ankles, feet intentionally grounded, connected to the earth. All right, bring your palms together back at your heart. Take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, turn the torso to the right. Find your edge and open the arms. Front arm to the outside of your right knee, back arm to the back of the chair or the bed behind you. Do not push into the twist. Just take 3 deep breaths here. On that third exhale, gaze over the back shoulder and push gently into the twist. 3 deep breaths. Nice long spine. And gently release on that last exhale. Now we're going to move down into some hip circles. So ground or place your hands either on your thighs, or you can place them on your hips, or you can hold onto your chair if it helps. We're going to move into some hip circles. So just imagine that your tailbone is a spoon and your pelvis is a bowl. So see if you can get an action moving in there where you are stirring the bowl. Go ahead and move in one direction. Just be curious about this movement. Don't try to do it right. There is no wrong. This is just being present with your space, with the space available in your body and in your hips and specifically. Ooh, relax the shoulders. See, as soon as I started doing this, my shoulders came back up. Be aware of your body. Offer your body compassion. And then release the tension. Switch to the other direction. Being mindful to release tension anywhere else in the body if it arises. If you've got issues with the low back, you may find this a little bit uncomfortable or a little bit jumpy. Honor where you are. Be gentle with yourself. Offer those tense areas some love and compassion. Okay, come back to neutral. That was much more uncomfortable than it has been most days, so I need to check in with my low back. Okay. Now we're going to move into a couple of cat-cows. Place your hands on your thighs. Inhale for cow. Sending the chest forward. Tucking the tail, or sending the, excuse me, geez, the words this morning. Tilt the hips to lift the tailbone. Send the chest forward and lift the chin. Allow the shoulders to roll gently back as you press the body forward. Inhale. Exhale. Tuck the tailbone. Curve the spine. Bring the chin to the chest. Inhale. Chest forward. Tail up. Chin up. Exhale. Chin down. Tuck tail. Curve spine. 2 more. Inhale. Forward. Exhale, back. Last one. Inhale, lift that chin, lift that tail. Exhale, tuck that tail, tuck that chin. And back to neutral. Interlace your fingers, both hands underneath your right thigh. Inhale as you lift, bringing it up to your chest. Point your toes, squeeze it towards your chest. And as you exhale, kiss your knee. Good morning, knees, and release. Other side, interlace your fingers underneath your left thigh. Inhale as you lift up, point your toe, tuck to your chest. And exhale, kiss your knee. Good morning, knee. And release. Check your alignment again. Knees at shoulder width apart, directly above your ankles, feet intentionally on the ground. And then windshield wiper the knees. Drop the knees back and forth. Windshield wiper the knees. Hello, knees. How are you doing this morning? Pretty good? Good, 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 good. Okay, one last down here, warming into the body. We're going to do the toe heel, and we're going to match the hands with it. So inhale the toes up, just the toes, not the whole foot. Inhale the toes up and the fingers up. Palms forward, extend the fingers all the way out and lift the palms as far as you can reach them. And exhale, drop the palms so they're facing inward and lift the heels. Inhale, fingers up, toes up. Exhale, fingers down, heels up. Inhale, fingers up, toes up. Exhale, heels up, fingers down. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, and exhale. Go ahead and release. Bring your palms together, interlace your fingers, and press your palms up towards the sky for a palm tree sway. Take a deep breath in. And exhale down to one side, stretching in the whole side body, all the way through the side body. Come back up to neutral and exhale down the other side. Inhale back up and reach all the way into a forward fold as far as is available to you. Find your spot in your forward fold and hang where you are. If you can rest on your knees, great. If you're a little further up, you can place your elbows here. Try not to collapse into your shoulders. But if you're up a little further, keep the intention in the shoulders so there's space, and just hang here. Wherever you are, pause for a moment. Slowly inhale to roll back up. We're going to do one more twist on each side. Bring your right hand, that's your left, that's my left hand. Bring your right hand to the outside of your left knee. Bring your palms to face each other, like you're clapping. Clap here down at the outside of your left knee. Inhale, run your left hand all the way up your right arm, up to your shoulder, across your chest, and open, reaching behind you. Lean back a little bit, opening even more. And come back to neutral. Bring those hands together to the outside of your right knee this time. Inhale, drag your right hand gently, caressing your entire left arm across your shoulders, across your chest, and open behind you, leaning back ever so slightly. And back to neutral. Thank you for the toe licks, puppy. Surprising, but somewhat pleasant. Interlace your fingers behind you and reach into a gentle camel. Lift the chin and press the chest forward while pulling the interlaced fingers back. And back to neutral. Palms together at the heart. Reach up into a slight back bend here. Come back up to neutral, and then drop your right hand behind your head. Sweep that left arm around to bring either the hands to clasp or the fingers to touch, or as close as you can here. Hold here for a moment. Lift in the spine. Find your alignment. Bring your chin parallel to the ground. Adjust your chest and shoulders and spine and tailbone and top of the head so that you're not doing this with yourself or this with yourself. Find a nice neutral alignment here. So every chakra has a front and a back. The heart chakra, the back of the heart chakra is directly between the shoulder blades, a spot where many of us can't reach. So we're going to open the back of the heart chakra a little bit with some cat-cows in this position. So inhale, send the chest forward and the chin up slightly. And exhale, gently curve the top of the spine and tuck the chin. So we're just moving upper spine cat-cows. Inhale, chest forward. Exhale, curve. Inhale, forward. Exhale, back. Inhale, forward. Exhale, back, and release gently, gently, gently. Shake that out. Bring the palms back together at the heart. Again, send the hands up. Slight back bend. Come back up to neutral and drop the left hand, bending at the elbow and sweeping the right arm around to clasp the hands or just touch the fingers. For a moment, align the spine again so you have good posture here. It's not even about posture. So your spine is nice and long. Now, working with the back of the heart chakra. Again, inhale. Sending the chest forward, lifting the chin ever so slightly. Exhale, curving the spine, tucking the chin. Small movement back and forth in the upper spine. One more. Release on the exhale. Shake it out. We're going to open the side of the heart now. So sweep that right arm over the side nice and big. Reach for the top, reach for the sky here. And then from here, just tip from the rib cage. So just the upper body. Opening in the side of the rib cage, opening in the heart. Adjust the arm above you so that you can also feel a stretch into your armpit. Allow the head to tip down. So we've got the right arm up, so tip down to the left, but do not drop it completely. We don't want to collapse in this. We want to keep this entire pose with intention. Opening that side of the rib cage into the armpit. Inhale back up to neutral. Exhale, release the arm. Left side. Inhale the left arm, sweeping it way overhead. And exhale, stretching just in the upper torso here, the rib cage into the armpit. Adjust your arms so that you're reaching into the arm, stretching in the armpit. Reach with those fingers. Tilt the head ever so slightly without releasing it, without dropping it. Breathe into that stretch. And release. Go ahead and shake that out. And we are going to finish our session with a 5-minute meditation. During this meditation, I invite you to use the mantra, I give love, I receive love. You can say this out loud. You can say it to yourself. But I invite you to simply use this mantra as your anchor. If any other thought arises, return to these words. I give love, I receive love. If the dog starts barking or your body feels uncomfortable, I invite you to again refocus your attention and on these words. I give love, I receive love. For this meditation, instead of holding a mudra, I invite you to wrap one arm around your shoulder and wrap the other arm around your shoulders and squeeze into a nice hug. Remember, we're going to sit for 5 minutes, so try not to squeeze too tight and find somewhere that's comfortable. I like to hold a little bit higher up on the shoulders because you can also drop your cheek to your own shoulder. Feel free to snuggle into your self-hug for these 5 minutes, however is comfortable to you. But again, I invite you to use the mantra, I give love, I receive love throughout this practice. Okay, we've got 5 minutes. Go ahead and take a deep breath in. Exhale, close your eyes. And begin with your mantra. I give love, I receive love. As you sit in this space, allow anything that arises to rise and fall, whether it be thoughts, sensations, emotions, words, whatever comes up, allow it to rise and fall. But I invite you to follow the body's direction as well. So if you find yourself here and suddenly you find yourself rocking a little bit, doing little circles, that's okay. I shouldn't say follow. Allow these things to arise, and then when they're done, allow them to dissipate naturally without any attachment, without any holding, without any storytelling. Just be present with whatever comes up. 5 whole minutes. I give love. I receive love. 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 Release any tension that arises in the body. Allow every sensation, every thought to rise and fall. And even when the mantra starts to fade away, allow it to naturally fall away. I give love. I receive love. I give love. I receive love. Stay with it. Just a few more moments. Stay with it. I give love. I receive love. I give love. I receive love. Go ahead and release the mantra. Go ahead and release any other bits this practice. Keep your hug, and in your hug, take several deep breaths. Nice, intentional. Fill your rib cage. Feel that expansion in your heart, the front, sides, and back of your heart. Opening up, filling with fresh, clean, rejuvenating oxygen, and exhaling, releasing all tension in the breath, in the body, in the being. Inhale, big, deep breath. Inhaling that prana, that life force that flows through everything in the universe. Feeling it expand your rib cage and releasing anything that no longer serves you. Anything stuck, anything rigid. Inhale again, inhaling divine love. That same universal life force that flows through everything in the universe. The very nature of creation. And exhale all that no longer serves you. Any doubt, any apprehension that you are worthy of this love or that this love is available to you, it is. It is always available to you in the same way the breath is available to you. It is always right within you the same way your heart lives within you. Take this moment here. You can stay in your hug as long as you would like. When you feel complete, I invite you to bring your hands together into prayer or simply lay one over the other over your heart in gratitude for today's practice, in gratitude for this space, in gratitude for this heart, in gratitude for the universal force, the universal life force that is love, that flows through all creation. In gratitude for this divine conduit, this body, that channels that energy into reality, into our lives. And of course, offer yourself some gratitude for taking the time for self-care today. I'm so fucking proud of you. And thank you for joining me in this space and helping me cultivate a safe space where we can grow and learn together, where we can thrive together. Take all the time you need for that gratitude. When you feel complete, I invite you to offer yourself some wiggles, some stretches, maybe roll your shoulders a little bit. In fact, before you open your eyes, who cares if you've opened, okay, if you've already opened your eyes, give yourself one last 3 squeezes. Inhale, pull the shoulders up towards the ears, and exhale, releasing forcefully. Dropping it. Dropping all that shit that no longer serves you. Inhale, bring them up. Exhale, down. One more. Inhale all the way up. And let it go. Open your eyes only when you're really ready to come back. Oh, doggo, you're under the chair. Now I can't move the chair. I don't want to. I mean, I can, but I don't want to. Sweet boy. Can you do this from your bed? Yes, absolutely. How you doing, trash pony? So I was saying before, this whole tiny yoga thing came out of living in an RV because I used to use that as an excuse to not practice yoga. My mat I found one spot in my camper where my mat will lay out, right? But I can't, the height of a camper, I can't do a full yoga practice, and I end up hitting things and running into things. And so I was like, I can't do my yoga, because I also didn't want to go outside and do it in public or in front of other people because I was feeling very uncomfortable about it, right? So it was my excuse for a long time until I realized that I could do all of my yoga from the edge of my bed in the camper. And in fact, I have done this yoga. I don't know if you guys saw it, but I did a tiny yoga episode once at the edge of my bed, which is also the opening of the narrow hallway, right? So I had to like avoid the walls while I was doing tiny yoga. But the point was, right, is that no matter what the space is available to you, we always have the opportunity to explore our inner reality as well as keep moving our body, right? Do you need a flat surface? No. Nope, you can do it on your bed. I mean, it's ideal if you're doing like a full yoga sort of situation, right? It's ideal to have a flat surface so you're not throwing yourself off balance, because yoga is very much about balance. I wouldn't really do my yoga practice on top of the bed, but I have done it before. I wouldn't do my whole practice like that, right? Ah, Melissa, welcome. Thank you, friend. Sorry, guys, I'm going to catch up on some of these comments here. Aw, thank you guys for the gifts. Okay, so this is our tiny yoga class. Tiny yoga happens at 10 a.m. Every Friday. And I am live pretty much always on TikTok and YouTube and now Instagram as well. You're very welcome, Melissa. Thank you. This is our CAYA space. So for those of you who are new here, hello. My name is Reverend Deborah. I am a movement facilitator, interfaith minister, and your shenanigan shaman. Do we take ourselves? We don't take ourselves too seriously in this place. Do we say we talk about serious things? Yes. We don't, but we, yeah. My words are backwards this morning, so. That's hilarious. I don't know where my brain is. Tiny yoga, 30-minute gentle flow for everybody in every space. It happens at 10 a.m. every Friday. We go live in these places. Oh, that's right. Sorry. The point was CAYA. It's a CAYA space, C-A-Y-A. It stands for come as you are, because your authenticity is really, if there ever is a goal here in life, it's your authenticity. And when we are doing this work of coming home to ourselves, of uncovering our authenticity and learning to really stand in our authenticity in our everyday life, not just by ourselves, it's important to have a safe space where you can show up, where you can be authentic, even if it's silly, even if it's messy, even if it's really weird. So this is a space. This is what we do here in this space. The only thing I ask is that you show up with curiosity and willingness. When you show up with curiosity and willingness, you have the opportunity to learn something new. You create space for others to be their authentic selves as well. And that's what authenticity is about. Authenticity is love for self as well as love for other, not just love for self, right? That's arrogance, narcissism, that kind of stuff. So, Ferguson, do I drink coffee? Yes. Josiah, do I travel? Very much, yes. I travel a lot. I've actually been talking to yesterday, on Wednesday, I did my class. The other classes I do are called Bhakti Bites. Bhakti Bites are our meditation mindfulness classes where we just practice a mindfulness tool. It's been mudras. We talk about chakras. We talk about all kinds of stuff in those classes. So on Wednesday, I was wearing something that was totally looking like Where's Waldo, and I realized that I probably need to do like a tour around the U.S. and play a Where's Rev game. Can you join me? What do you mean? Like, come on to the live kind of deal? Oh, thank you. Yeah, Trash Pony. I think I usually do these, like the classes on my own, and then Saturday I'm opening up Saturday sessions for like discussion and back and forth and stuff like that. That way everybody gets an opportunity so I can respond to comments. I find when I am on with somebody and have a guest on, I start to lose track of all the comments and I stop answering comments because I don't want to interrupt the other person, you know what I mean? Yeah. Oh, thank you, friend. This is a mala that I made, and it's got some tiger eye right here, but it was a little bit long for today. Bobby, beads? You'd like to talk about beads, prayer beads, stones, malas? It says tiger's eye, and obsidian, and I don't remember the name of the wood here. There's a couple pieces of wood in this one. Awesome! Welcome, Mackie. So remember, guys, replays are available on YouTube. Please go follow me on YouTube if you enjoyed the class. Replays will be available for a week, and then I have a membership option for replays to get all of the replays from all time. That is available on my Patreon page, patreon.com/movewithchange. But if you have any questions, feel free to send me a message or something. Hey, Claybeard, how you doing? Yeah, we can totally talk about malas for a few minutes. So, the origin of prayer beads, right? Prayer beads, malas, anything like that, is well before organized religion or these other religious practices adopted them. So that in and of itself, let's start there. This is not specific to any particular religious practice. It is a tool. This tool, I really love this tool for a couple of reasons. One, it allows me to carry around my stones, right? The stones have properties that work well for balancing the energy body, the emotions, healing the body, healing the energy. For those rock trolls, y'all know all about it, right? I am just starting to learn about stones because they have not called to me. I speak to the plants and the animals and whatnot, but stones are one of those things that's kind of like, it's a rock. But I was not connected, right, to the to those subtle layers, to the subtle language that rocks speak, stones speak. So I'm learning. But so that's the first, right? That's why I like them on the one hand. On the other hand, it is a really good tool for anchoring. So when we talk about mindfulness in this space, I talk about the 4 pillars of mindfulness. Thank you, Beck Luke. I am a rock. I am an island. So the 4 pillars of mindfulness are your intention and your attention. Bobby, as I was saying before, Saturday is our space for guests and lives and stuff like that. You're welcome to share stuff in the chat if you'd like to chat about it. But you did ask me about the malas, so I'm happy to share some information. If you were just asking to share your information, then I'll go ahead and stop and let you share what you wanted to share. But I'll go ahead until I find out, until you answer. So, when the 4 pillars of meditation, the four pillars of mindfulness, your intention, your attention, your curiosity, and your willingness, right? Your intention is your guiding light, is your North Star, is your place to focus, right? And your attention is your compass. It keeps you focused on that intention. So if my intention is just to follow the breath, I can focus on the breath, right? If my intention is to experience the mudra, I can just focus on the experience of the mudra itself. But you can use any tool, any anchor to keep your attention, keep the light of your attention focused on that intention or focused on your practice. One of the things about malas is that they give you a physical thing to work with. And a lot of us really like the physical thing to help us bring our busy minds down to a focused space. It can be like herding cats up there, especially if you're not used to it. And that's okay. We don't want to chide ourselves for having a busy mind. But we do want to flex that muscle, train the brain, create a habit around mindfulness so that the brain and body become used to, oh, we're taking deep breaths, oh, we've pulled out the mala, it's time to quiet down. When you create that habit with yourself, the body and the brain starts to respond by itself before you have to force it to do anything. And by the way, we don't get very far with force in this space, right? So that those are the reasons some of the reasons why I love using the mala. I also love using the mala for breath work because it helps me count my breaths without having to keep track of the numbers. So a really, really powerful practice for me, or one of my favorite ones to use the mala with, is alternate nostril breathing, or Nadi Shodhana. There's 2 ways you can do the mudra with it. You can either do this one here or this one here. Either way, it's done by closing one side of the nose, so alternate nostril breathing, right? We'll do it like this so you can see what I'm doing. Close the right nostril with your right thumb. Inhale through the left. Close the left. And exhale through the right. Inhale through the right. Close it with your thumb. Exhale through the left. Inhale through the left. Close the left. Exhale to the right. Okay? So that is a simple... I cannot do circular breathing just yet. I've tried to play the didgeridoo, and that's why I'm trying to learn how, but I haven't gotten it. So that is Nadi Shodhana or alternate nostril breathing. When I'm practicing that, I really love using my mala, because what I can do is each, okay, inhale, exhale, and each breath, I move one bead further. And when I do that with this is about a 20-minute practice, a 20-minute breath practice. With different malas, I make them differently. So this one was an early mala I made. And when I made this mala, I specifically changed the shape of the beads down here so that I knew I was coming into my middle part, right? I'm halfway through. I could feel the change in the shape. I could feel the change in the textures, the material, and then I came around to the center with those tiger eye. Okay, I'm rounding the bend. I know I'm halfway there. It helped me a lot when I was feeling, when I was trying to extend my practices, right? When we're not used to sitting for very long, more than a minute or 2 or 5, it can be really hard to sit for 20 or 40 minutes, right? So this is a way for me to not worry, and then also not have to use an annoying timer that like jolts me out of the practice. So this is the way that I really like to, these are some of the ways that I really like to use them. So some of the things that I also have come to understand about malas. 1, we don't want to let them touch the earth. Partially it's kind of like the reason we don't let the flag touch the earth, right? Or like it's putting it on the ground. It's about respect. It's about honoring the intention that you put into it. Also, as an energy worker, I know that the more you use these tools, the more of your energy you put into them. And when you place things on the earth, it dissipates. It pulls that energy. It clears things out. So in that way, keeping them off the earth and not sharing them with other people. You may feel called to share your mala beads or your prayer beads with somebody else. Feel free to do what you feel called to do. I have beads that I share. I have beads that I do not share. This is one of those sets of beads that I do not share because I really love to sit with this, and I'm cultivating a specific energy with these beads, okay? So speaking of the energy and the nature of energy and whatnot, one thing you want to be mindful of, and this is, again, follow your intuition. If this doesn't feel right to you, if you're like, whatever, that's okay. Maybe it's not the place for you just yet. And or maybe it's not the place for you ever. Who cares, right? It's your own thing. So your fingers are, the different elements in the body are channeled through the different fingers, okay? The pointer finger is the air finger. And the air in the body, air in the system, air in the energy can cause a lot of chaos. Imagine a windy day, right? It can be a totally fine day, but if there's a heavy wind going on, you notice how it kind of creates some chaos, like in your body, in your world, and it's like, ah! That's that energy of this when there's too much of it. So I don't touch my prayer beads as much as possible when I'm using them. I don't touch my prayer beads with my air finger because I'm trying to dissipate the air. I'm not trying to integrate the air. I'm trying to dissipate the air. So I keep my air finger, my index finger, pointed out and away from the mala. Do you want to pull it out for me, please? We'll pull the medicine out and come around here. Okay, so that means I hold it here on my middle finger. This is the ether, space, spirit, energy finger. This is earth. This is water. This one's fire. So I ignite each of those breaths as I move bead by bead by bead. If your brain is very busy, you can also wiggle the beads while you are moving through each one. If you are using it for mantras, you can wiggle it while you say the whole mantra and then come back. You know, maybe you're saying the mantra 3 times. Each time you say it 3 times, you wiggle the mantra. 1, 2, 3, okay. Let me see. Make sure you come around this way. I'm going to give my kid his medicine, guys. So the other thing, too, is that in some traditions, this piece right here is considered the guru bead. And out of respect for the guru, you don't ever cross over the guru. So, again, middle finger, holding it with the middle finger, counting with your thumb, starting from the guru. You don't use the guru, your guru is up right here, and then you start from that first one here. And then I travel my journey, my personal journey, all the way back to my guru. Now, if I would like to do another round with my mala, I flip it. And do not ever cross over my guru. Remember that in this space, we are learning to recognize the guru within. That does not mean that said guru is any less worthy of respect than an external guru, right? Okay. Bobby, let's see. You're originally from Nepal. You love having them. When you use them, you get on 4D with 5D. They can really elevate your practice. Remember that any of these tools, these are tools. These are just tools. And those tools are intended to amplify our practices. Mudras are tools to amplify our practices, our energy. Mantras are tools. Spells, saying words, amplify our energy, right? Why do witches say spells? Why do we have incantations? Is it because the words themselves have the magic in them? No, it is your intention and your attention. Ask any pagan, ask any Christian about your intention in prayer. If you're praying and your attention is 1,000,000 miles away, is that the same energy of that prayer? If I am, that can be said for everything in the universe. Where is your attention? Because if it's not present, then is it really on your intention? Is your intention really aligned? If we are not present, we cannot determine whether or not our intention and our actions are aligned. We have to evaluate those things. Now, if we create really good habits within ourselves where we operate from that intention place, but intention can shift and move, your attention needs to be able to follow that intention. I was listening to something not too long ago about mistakes. It's like, or when you're on a path. Oh my gosh! Sorry, guys.
Mama.
Oh, yes, dear.
Since I did the laundry and mopped the floor, could I maybe want to show up?
You mopped the floor?
Yeah.
Nice. Good choice for a chore. What is it? Friday? Yes. You can watch some shows. Okay. Will you please put this back in the fridge? Your intention and your attention. I love you too, Bobby.
Maybe play
Bobby.
a game too?
Right, Haley?
Mama?
Cipher says, seems a little obvious, honestly, but I suppose some people are unaware of basic things. So again, I will reiterate, this is a CAYA space. CAYA, C-A-Y-A, stands for come as you are. And the only thing I ask in this space is that we approach each other with curiosity and willingness. That way, we can have the opportunity to learn together, to support each other in that growth, and we can honor the value and authenticity in each of us.
Mama?
Yes, dear?
Could I remove it and where it's
No.
back to this?
Just put it right in there, please. Okay. You've already had your okay. And we'll talk about it afterwards, okay?
Okay.
Thank you. I love you.
Love you too.
Go wide. The camera's on this way. Okay. So, assuming that something is obvious to everybody is a really quick passive-aggressive way, right, to belittle other people. And when we come from that perspective, it's usually coming from our own trauma, our own feelings of belittling ourselves, or feeling stupid ourselves, or feeling like, oh, God, I should have known that thing. Remember that everything that we speak is a projection of the way that we speak to ourselves, too. And there's no harm in talking about the simplicity of things, because it is in the simplicity of these things that the greatest and most profound lessons are found. And we can talk about intention and attention, and it may sound simple, but my question to you, friend, is your intentions, is your attention aligned with your intention? Are your actions aligned with your intentions? And my guess here is that there is unconscious intentions occurring, because I see them in your words. So I'm not sure it's as obvious as you think it is. When we meet each other with curiosity and willingness, we have the opportunity to see each other as well as see ourselves, to receive that genuine reflection. Bobby, yeah, you're welcome to share. Absolutely. I'd love to hear more about the malas. Thank you. And thank you for letting me chat about them, because I really love them. Intention and attention. Curiosity and willingness. If you meet everything and everyone in life with intention, with aligning your intention and your attention and your curiosity and willingness, if you bring all four of those things to the situation, there is so much more space available for yourself, for the other. And authenticity, showing up authentically, right, is not an arrogant thing, is not a selfish thing. Because authenticity is love for self and love for other. And love for other is not to belittle other. Love for self, genuine love for self, does not need to belittle the other to feel better about self. If you don't see God in all, you won't see God at all. It's the whole love the sin, not the sinner. No. Our attempts to judge others are almost always attempts to feed ourselves from finite energy sources. We are not intended to pull other people's energy from them, and yet we use our language to do just that. Especially on social media. People find even, and I've had people come in and say to me that this is fun for them, right? To come in and be belittling or rude or disruptive and whatnot, and I just go, wow, what are you trying to fuel? You know, that's a really deep lack of sustainable energy and self-love, to feel like, to get a rise, to get a joy out of disrupting other people's spaces or taking other things from other people. That is a stark imbalance, right? Love. Personally, I love relearning things I know as much as I love learning new. Yes, because I can talk about one thing. Actually, we're having a whole thing of videos that's happening right now on TikTok about that, about kind of like that, right? Because the way that I talk about one thing, it's like here with Bobby, right? You asked about malas, and I would love for you to share what you have to share about malas, because what I understand about malas and what you understand about malas doesn't have to negate either person's information. And when I talk about one thing, I may say something that is new to you and that rings true to you, and you may say something that's new to me, and I'll go, oh man, I'm so glad we had this conversation. I could have approached this with saying, I know everything about malas, so let me tell you, no, you're wrong. Then I close myself off from the opportunity to learn. And what am I here for except for to learn, right? God sees good, so one with it. So seeing God is good. God is love. God is in everything and everyone, everywhere. And so to deny God in another person would be to deny God in self at the same time. Repetition of an idea, solidify a form. That's the idea of a mantra. You repeat it over and over. Yes, there are some things that we commit to memory, commit to our energy body, right? I practice one of the types of meditations I practice is transcendental meditation, and it is set on the foundation of a single mantra, and you use that single mantra for your lifetime. And it becomes a part of you, available to you anywhere, anytime. Yes, you chanted the same mantra for 25 years. Nothing is obvious. Nothing is obvious. One has to penetrate the mystery. So mindfulness, right? You guys hear me talk about this too. Mindfulness is the exploration of deeper and deeper layers of subtlety of reality. Sorry, I'm moving further and further away from the sun. The deepening layers of reality. And we can operate, usually we all start operating in gross mentality. Like as children, we learn gross motor skills, how to move our bodies. We learn that before we learn fine mechanisms. The same way with the mind and with the energy and with our experience of reality. We can sit back from a gross perspective and see it's good or bad, it's black or white. You either know it or you don't. But as you start to get into that, there are more and more layers there. There are ogres. Ogres are like onions. It becomes a tiramisu, right? Where suddenly this is where wisdom comes from. I can know the information, but until I have explored the subtle layers of that and learned the ins and outs and experienced the full breadth of it, then I'm not really understanding it. I'm not really integrating it, right? If we keep information all up here and just say, well, I know the thing, but don't understand how to apply it or how to translate it or how to look at it from different angles, then we won't see the whole. When I was a little girl, I had this really weird habit, which I understand so much more now. But I would intentionally go and I would look for places in familiar places. So like in my house, at school, other places that I was used to going on a regular basis. And I would look for a spot that I had never stood before. And sometimes it got a little bit harrowing. Like I'd get on top of a roof, or I'd lay upside down over a table, or I'd, climb on a ledge of something. Like I'd do some pretty acrobatic sort of stuff to get to that spot. I even climbed on top of the fridge once, just so I could see the whole room from a different perspective, because it gave my heart a jolt. It gave my mind a tickle, and it felt like it was expanding. I remember the physical sensation of that new perspective. And I think it's what, again, I understand it so much more, right? It fueled so much of my learning, and it is a foundational piece of who I am, is I'm always looking to see that other perspective. I'm a really visual person, so I like to take things in my mind and turn them around and see them inside out. Because I really think that when we take things at face value, we deny ourselves the access to the mystery, right? That's within. Bobby, many of us learn things the hard way. The hard way. I used to say that I'm pretty stubborn, which is, I've never really classified myself as a stubborn person. But when it comes to communicating with the universe, yeah, I'm kind of stubborn. I need to wait until the universe screams at me before I hear it. And mostly it's not stubbornness, it's actually self-doubt. It has been self-doubt, it has been fear, it has been apprehension, it has been lack of trust with myself a great deal. As I build more trust and as I get to know myself, my intentions, and I align my intention and my attention, then I'm less worried about those things. Then I can hear the universe a little bit more before it starts to yell at me and does things like gets me in a car crash or takes my health away or makes me lose my job or my partner, right? Those big, huge things. You're like, what the fuck? Where did this come from? The universe goes, I have been trying to talk to you for the last 10 fucking years. Leb. You talk a lot on the wisdom of not knowing. That's, so I heard that term years ago when I was first finally practicing energy work. I received I inherited my family's lineage of energy work as a child, and I did not start practicing until I was in my early 20s when the universe gave me permission to start practicing. And immediately, I started kind of, I was asking permission, but I'd put hands on people when I felt called to. And in this one particular moment, I was sitting in a workshop, and somebody was sitting next to me. I was sitting on the floor, and he was sitting right here, and he had his knee bent, and I kept wanting to touch his knee. I kept wanting to hug his knee, and I was like, okay, I'm sorry. I go, can I just put my hands on your knee? He goes, yeah, sure, no problem. And so I was doing the energy work stuff, and I usually go in, and in my mind space, in my inner vision, there we go. I usually, when I'm doing energy work, I can see things inside of the body and inside of the energy. And so I was working with these things, and I was like, oh, I see this thing here, I see this thing there. I was like, it's almost like a rock or a something. And he goes, yeah, I damaged the knee, and he told me some story about how he damaged the knee and all that stuff. And he goes, that's beautiful. He goes, did you learn acupressure, right? Or did you learn meridians? And I said, no, it's intuition. And he goes, oh, you're operating from that place of not knowing, the place of unknowing. And I really loved that because so much of my life, I have been told that you can't know anything intrinsically until you find it outside of yourself. You can't know something until somebody else teaches it to you. And there were so many ways in which I was connected to that intuition when I was young and was told to deny it over and over and over and over again. So to finally to have somebody in my 20s say to me, that's a beautiful thing. Just trusting that place, being present with what comes up. Alex. Hey, juggler in LA. Yeah. So, do you want to teach juggling, Alex? Maybe that's why. So, as a side note, I have a project that I'm hopefully starting up soon. It is a Skillshare workshop. So if you have any type of skill that you feel like you could share or teach in a 30 to 45 minute spot, I'm probably going to go through Zoom so we can cast it to like YouTube and other places. But I'm planning on right now, like maybe once a month. I have a couple people interested already. It's a completely free information sharing workshop. I believe information should be readily available. This whole gatekeeping, hiding information behind closed doors, locking it away, burning books, right? All this shit. You have a right to the information that is available. You have a right to the information that is in the collective, even if it's only in a small portion of the collective. So I intend to start creating this Skillshare workshop, and I'm looking for people who are interested in sharing their skills, teaching something for free. And then the other piece too is that along with the juggling, or not juggling, sorry, I read the other thing, along with the Skillshare, those who participate in the Skillshare will be able to put themselves into a time bank directory. The time bank is literally what it sounds like. It's an exchange. It's a service exchange based on the time it takes you to do it. So if you want to exchange dental work for plumbing, and you've got two people in the time bank, a plumber and a dentist, and y'all can trade hour by hour. It's a project that's been going on for some time elsewhere in the U.S., and I know in other countries as well. There's been little startups. So I'd like to put all that stuff out there when we start doing that. Hopefully starting next month. I'm hoping to start by July 1st. Definitely into the fall. So let me know if you have something you would like to share. Alex, juggling can be applied to lots of things in life, especially when learning it. Absolutely. Juggling is a really good analogy, actually, for a lot of things. I had a friend, I still have a friend, I don't see her much because she's not on the socials as much anymore, who's a juggler as well, and was talking about mindfulness within juggling, meditation within juggling. I think we have this really, skewed idea of meditation that it has to look a specific way, and as a juggler, I'm sure you know, the flow state that you reach when you're juggling is exactly the same thing that we are looking for when we are meditating. Mag's dad, connect me. Nice. Okay, Haley, You're going for an extended family vacay. You feel like it's going to be stressful. What are some grounding techniques? So, there are several grounding techniques. I'm happy to offer some. One of the things I really like to do, a simple thing that I really like to do, is really just bring intention to the bottom of your feet. So you can do this now with me, wherever you're sitting. If you're standing, because this works in any situation, and you don't have to do anything. So nobody's going to ask you what you're chanting. Nobody's going to ask you what your mudra is. Nobody's going to ask you why you moved your body. Nobody's going to notice shit, except for you, hopefully, and your energy. So focus your attention on your feet. You can be standing, seated, whatever. Focus your attention on your feet. And for just a moment, in your mind's eye, imagine that there are roots growing down from the bottom of your feet. And again, you can visualize this, or you can just tell yourself, roots are growing from my feet. My body is rooting. My feet are rooting into the ground. You may notice a physical sensation on the bottom of your feet, and I invite you to look for that sensation. When you focus your attention, remember your intention and attention are some of the most powerful things that you have. So set your intention to ground deeply into the earth. And then you focus your attention on it. So if you're standing there in a conversation with somebody and you're starting to feel all like, yeah, about energy and you need to ground out, keep doing what you're doing. If you're standing there talking like this, right, and listening to somebody, it's their turn to talk, in your mind's eye go, roots. I've done it before where I've just been like, roots. And I can feel my feet start to tingle because I bring my attention there and I send them down and I push them down into the earth and I say, root, root, ground myself out, ground myself out. Your intention and your attention. Your attention is so powerful. We understand scientifically in quantum physics, we understand that when you place your attention on something, you change the structure of it. So change the structure of the situation by focusing your intention. Change the structure of your grounding. By focusing your intention on said grounding. Okay, depending on how much attention you have to give it. You can also add other pieces. You can close your eyes and you can imagine them going down. You can also imagine the layers of earth that you're going through. You can even send them all the way into the center of the earth, connect to the center of the earth, and then my favorite part is once you've got the center of the earth, when you've got them all the way down in there, I like to imagine they begin to pulse in time with my heartbeat. And as they pulse in time with my heartbeat, I am exchanging my energy, my life force, with the life force of the earth. My bloodstream with the bloodstream of the earth, the center molten core of the earth. One of my favorite ways to do this. You don't have to be in a meditative state at all. Your intention and your attention are the most important parts of any kind of mindfulness. So bring your attention to the present moment and set that intention. Focus on that intention. And yeah, you can even do it when you're in the middle of conversation. Obviously, your attention is going to be pulled away to the conversation and then come back to it. You are very welcome, friends. So that is one very simple, very incognito way to ground yourself out. And it's one of the most powerful ones that I have. It's one that I've been doing since I was little. Same goes the opposite way. You can ground that way. And if you would like to receive, so if you're feeling depleted, if you're feeling so if you're feeling lightheaded, I would say ground out your energy. If you're feeling really jittery, right, ground out your energy. But if you're feeling exhausted, weak, like listless, heavy-hearted, heavy breath, then I invite you to do the exact same thing. Alicia, that is exactly it. It's like a call to calling my minions. Roots! So the other side too is you can do the exact same thing from the crown. And if you're feeling this lack of energy, if you're feeling a lack of will, an inability to maybe even speak your truth or communicate, or you're feeling overpowered by the situation, by the energy in the situation, then focus on the top of your head. This is your crown chakra. Focus on the top of your head and imagine that there are tendrils or roots or branches that come out of the top of your head. Do you notice what we just did there? This is the tree. Your body is the tree. The roots of your tree reach down into the earth and ground you in the center of the planet. The branches, the tendrils that come up from the top of your head reach out into the cosmos and access that solar energy and lunar energy. Cosmic, earth. Planetary. Cosmic, planetary. Yang, yin. Grounding, empowering. This is empowering too. Okay. So you can ground from the top of the head. And the same thing, you can imagine as you go from the top of the head. I really love the top of the head one because I like to imagine the tendrils reaching up and going like out the roof of the building, over the tops of the trees, maybe even like running into a bird while it's going up into the sky, through the clouds, breaking past the atmosphere, reaching for the stars, wrapping around planets, chasing comets until finally it finds a spot. And I notice that every single time I send my tendrils up to the universe, they do find a spot. When they find that spot, I do the same thing. And I let them pulse with my heartbeat. Hey, Veronica. I let it pulse with my heartbeat. And instead of pulling red molten lava from the center of the earth, I pull down golden cosmic glitter. So this is a practice. This is the first meditation that ever came to me on my own. When I was first exploring meditation, when I was first exploring energy work as a, like in my early teen, preteen, teen-ish years, I was starting to get deeper and deeper into it. And this one came to me when I was sitting beneath the tree. I was imagining myself with the tree, blending into the tree, and I felt, as I was leaning back into the tree, I felt those roots, and then I also felt the branches. And so now every time I feel misaligned, every time I feel anything that doesn't feel good, that isn't authentic to me or isn't where I want to be, it's as simple as saying, roots, and sending them all down to the ground and sending them all up to the sky, all up into the cosmos. And the more you do this, the easier it is to then immediately tap into them. And sometimes I do. Sometimes I need to like check into them and go, wait a minute, am I even connected? Whoa, this thing is super short. My branches have all been snipped off by some bullshit that I was doing, not paying attention, right? Okay, regrow those back out. Oops, I'm ungrounded. I've been uprooting myself. And Sandra, cosmic glitter helps you sleep too. Yes, it does. It's something that you can do when you first wake up in the morning. It's something that you can do right before you go to bed. It's something you can do when you're feeling stressed. It's something you can do when you're feeling really good. It's something you can do when you're meditating. It's something you can do when you're busy doing other things. And this is one of the things that I got with this meditation, when I first received this meditation. So I began with the roots. I sent the roots down. I watched all the layers, got to the molten core, and it began to pulse. That molten energy began to come up through those roots and into my body. And it filled my body with that warm, red, nourishing energy, all the way up to the very top of my head. And when it reached the very top of my head, those roots, those branches reached up into the cosmos. And then when they found their spot, they started pulsing and pulling down this glitter. And what happened, as soon as that glitter came down, is it started to filter through, and it became this mix of red and glitter, like one of those glitter bottles or something, all red and glittery. And here's what I saw. That right here, in the heart, this is the center of your being. When that energy comes down, it moves through 3 chakras. When the energy comes up, it moves through 3 chakras. This is the center chakra. And the shape of this chakra, not the shape, the symbol for this chakra is an upside down triangle and a right side up triangle. Why? Because what happens right here, the energy of the earth, the divine masculine and divine feminine, come together into union in the heart and manifest into creation. This is where divine union creates you and everything else around you. And that's what I saw in that meditation. Cleanse. You're open to anything that will help with anxiety and agoraphobia. I live with a CPTSD diagnosis, so anxiety is a pretty regular thing for me. And I will give you some of my tools that really, really, really help me with that too. Hold on, we might need to relocate though. Give me a second. I will. Don't go. Don't go. I've got tools for you. I need to go grab the charger, and we're going to move over into the shade before I get sunned out. So hold on. Oops. Don't die yet, little computer. Okay. All right. I'm back in the saddle again. Anxiety. Anxiety. Sane in the insane rivalry. Paranoia's got me to my knees. Brought me to my knees. Lord, please, please, please take away my anxiety. So, anxiety is a symptom of the attention being pulled away from the present moment. Let's look at it as simply as that. Because anxiety is either the mind or the body being triggered and repeating a loop, reacting based on a loop that has been generated previously. It is responding to an expectation about a previous experience, not the present one. So one of the most important things that you can do for anxiety is to bring yourself back into the present moment. So you can totally use the grounding techniques that we were just talking about, the meditation where you send your roots down and roots up, and you don't have to even sit in meditation. But the more focus you give it, the more you invite your attention to focus on something other than that trigger, the more benefit you're going to see. So the thing I find with anxiety, though, is that a lot of times these triggers or these habit cycles are so deeply ingrained, it can feel impossible to stop them. They can feel so overwhelming that just saying, okay, I'm going to ground my energy is not even remotely enough. If you deal with anxiety, right, to that degree, then you know what I'm talking about. So some of the things that I like to do when I'm facing anxiety, there are several tools that I use because sometimes I only need one, sometimes I need a whole lot more. Sometimes I need a whole lot more, okay? So let's see. I might start first by grounding my energy. Lily, I was not homeschooled, no. Start by grounding your energy. Let's do an example. Or you can give me an example of yours, friend. Where do you cleanse? Where do you most often feel anxiety? Well, you say agoraphobia. So let's say you're sitting in your car ready to go in the grocery store, right? You got to go grab some groceries. It's what humans do. You need some food. You got to do it regardless of how many people are in there or how you're feeling right now, right? So I'm going to sit in my car and I already feel that anxiety starting to happen. So first, I'm going to make sure I'm going to bring my attention to my feet And I'm going to send that energy down to the earth and go, okay, I'm going to start rooting. Okay. Begin there. Second, place your hand. Walmart pickup is the best. Haley. Most of the time, it's hard to leave your house. Okay, so let's start before you even leave your house. You're not even out yet, okay? Before you even leave your house. You can even stand there at the door if you want to, or you can sit in a chair somewhere in the house. Ground the energy first. Second, find the place where anxiety is manifesting in your body. For me, it is very often in my gut. That's usually where it starts. Place your hand there. Place your right hand, because your right hand is the giving hand, your left hand is the receiving hand, and you are giving yourself attention and compassion. So place your right hand wherever it is that you're feeling it, okay? Once you place it there, you may immediately notice a shift just from placing it there. Place it with love and compassion, and turn that light of compassion on yourself and ask, are you okay? Is there something you can tell me? Is there something going on? Is there something specific, right? You may not get an answer at all. It may be just a big, like, everything is horrible. I'm really scared and I don't want to go. It's okay. It doesn't matter what the answer is. The point is asking the question. The point is just opening up the space for it to speak to you, because it may bring you some insight all of a sudden and you go, oh wow, I didn't even realize that was what it was, or that was, right? The more often you give yourself the space to speak, the more likely you're going to hear the smaller voices within. So we've grounded out. We've brought our attention to the area where we're feeling the anxiety physically in our body. And then we've opened the space for that to communicate with us, for that feeling to speak. Remember, you may not get words, you may not get anything at all, you may just get more sensation, you may get less sensation. It doesn't matter what the answer is. You meet the answer with curiosity and willingness. You meet the experience with curiosity and willingness. Now, if the anxiety is still ramping up and you're like, this has made zero change for me, grounding, touching, and opening the space for question and answers, opening the Q&A space. If that still hasn't shifted the energy at all, then begin employing the rest of your senses. I like to start by looking around the room and looking for every color. I start with red, and I look everything that's red. Red, 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 orange, red, orange, yellow, right? Go through each color and use your attention, use your eyes to physically look around your room while you are also feet on the ground, hand on wherever it is that you are feeling this sensation. And now I'm also adding my eyes, looking around for each color, and busying my brain looking around for the colors. While my brain and eyes are busy doing this, the likelihood that the brain starts to chill out and this anxiety starts to subside a little bit gets higher, right? So if I'm doing this and still, because I've been there, you might have been there too, and still it's not enough, my brain is still screaming. My body is still feeling like I'm going to fucking hurl just for leaving the house, right? I've been there. My energy is grounded. I'm rooting down. I've touched the area. I'm feeling it. I've opened the space and given it permission to speak. I've employed my eyesight and my mind to look for every color in the room, focusing one by one by one. If it's still not working, I employ further senses, and now I listen for the furthest away sounds that I could possibly hear while I'm looking for the colors, or listen for the sound of the color as well while you're looking for it. Add another sense, okay? So now I've got my eyes, my hands, my ears, my feet engaged, and my mind and my heart by opening space for the anxiety to speak to me. If I'm still in the middle of it, this is usually my coup de grace. So you can also start with this one too if you'd like to. Is I begin tapping my thumb to each finger. What this does is works to balance all the energy in the body, because these are all the energy outlets, channels in the body. You can add counting to it. If your brain is the culprit of the anxiety and saying all sorts of nasty or scary things to you, then count 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 3, 2, 1, 1, 2, go. Because when you mess up, you got to go back to it. It takes your attention. All of this takes your attention. What is anxiety doing? Is pulling your attention into the past or into the future. Bring yourself right here. That's the other one, Haley. Sa ta na ma, sa ta na ma. So you can do it one direction, you can do it the other direction, double tap, single tap, whatever works for you, and honestly, whatever's more complicated. Because whatever's more complicated is going to bring more of your attention in and away from the anxiety experience. Hey, Gigi. So as I do all of these things, you can also choose to tap on the area where you're feeling it too, instead of just hold. What you're probably noticing now is that, right, all of these tools are just bringing the awareness in more and more and more and more. So use any and all of those tools. Another one I really, really love too is a breathing technique. Now I use this for when my speech is getting jittery, right? That kind of anxiety where suddenly it's like I'm trying to speak and I feel short of breath and jittery, okay? This is one of my favorite ones to bring my voice back into balance. I start with, thank you, Gary. I start with my hand, all five fingers out. And I start with my finger at the base of my thumb. Yeah, palm in. I'm like, does it work that way? I've never done it that way. Palm in. Inhale from the base of your thumb up to the tip of your thumb. Exhale from the tip of your thumb down into the saddle between. Inhale up the index. Exhale inside. Inhale outside of the middle. Exhale inside of the middle. Inhale outside of the ring. Exhale out inside of the ring, outside of the ring. Inhale inside of the pinky. And when you exhale, let this be a nice, slow, long, all the way to the elbow exhale. This one, it takes taking deep breaths. Just take 5 breaths to a whole nother level. This one I also use when I am trying to break a habit, for example, like smoking or seeking sweets, or especially like a oral fixation kind of habits. I can use this one for that as well. When I feel the desire to have a soda and I'm trying not to, or I feel the desire to eat, or have a smoke when I'm trying not to, before I go to do the thing, when this experience comes up, desire comes up, I take those 5 breaths and then I go have a glass of water. After I do that, then I try to go about my day. Now you can do this multiple times, right? As long as you can, honestly, if you can keep doing it and postpone the desire for the thing with drinking water and by taking deep breaths, it's going to help steer away from that. Oh, I just give myself permission to follow the impulse to have the thing. This is why I stopped buying tailor-made cigarettes, is because now if I want to have tobacco, I have to be intentional about it. I can't just grab something out of a pack, light it up, and smoke it before I even realize what I'm doing. You are very welcome, you guys. Again, so for those of you who are new here, hello. My name is Reverend Deborah. I am an interfaith minister, a movement facilitator, and your shenanigan shaman. And I am the owner of what was a business called Move with Change, right? Because what's the only constant in the world? Change. Change. Taxes aren't even reliable anymore. Change is a constant. And if we are rigid, if we are stuck, if we are narrow in our thinking and holding tight to the way things are, it'll make it very difficult for us to move with that change, for us to find the flow that the universe actually operates within. The universe is not stagnant, the universe is not stationary, the universe is not compartmentalized and boxed in. And we do that to ourselves so much. So I always say, grow the roots of an oak and the branches of a willow. You are very welcome, guys. I go live Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday at 10 a.m. Pacific time for classes. I stay live afterwards, sometimes up to several hours. Sometimes I'll go live before the classes, and occasionally I will throw in random lives as well. So if you like this content, please give me a follow here and anywhere else you hang out. But if you please go follow me on YouTube. Replays for all of these classes will be available for up to a week after the class. After that, if you would like the replays, the lifetime of replays, there is a membership that you can purchase. That's on my Patreon page, patreon.com/movewithchange. There's a link in my bio. And there at Patreon too, I also have various membership levels in case you would like to spend some time working directly with me. I offer group coaching, I offer private coaching, I offer private practice sessions and whatnot. I do have very limited spots for a full-time coaching subscription membership. I don't take on a lot of full-time coaching clients because I like to give all of my energy and attention to that exchange. But beyond that, everything else that I do is essentially free. And it's not from a place of, oh, I'm not worth an exchange, oh, I'm not worth this and that. It's from a place of realizing that my authentic truth is that if you and I were sitting at a coffee shop right now, I would be telling you guys this shit for free. So me charging someone for it here when not over there doesn't feel authentic at all. I believe this information is necessary for our growth, is information that should be readily available to anyone who seeks it. Part of what I've struggled with my business is I've been trying to balance what I think society expects of me and what is really true to how I want to operate. Hey guys, sorry I don't go live with people I don't know, but if you want to send me a message about going live another time together, I would love to chat about it. Please note that on Saturdays, I'm going to start opening up, that's tomorrow. Tomorrow is our first live question and answer panel. If you would like to get into the live and come up to the live, that is by membership as well. You can check those memberships either on Patreon or here on TikTok. I just want to do a brief little thing about it, right? Free information. But let me tell you about the memberships really quick, just so you have the information. I have memberships on Patreon. There's 3 levels of membership. Plus there's 2 higher ones, but those are very, very, very limited full-time coaching subscriptions. So we're just going to talk about the bottom 3. Those bottom 3 offer you varying levels of interaction. The first one offers you access to the live question panel, as well as the ability to request specific content. I will be making content specifically for you. So if you have a question and you want me to do a video on the meditation, on the mantra, on the nutrition, on the meal, on the herbal remedy, whatever it is from my toolbox, go ahead and ask a question and I will make you a video that you can, I'll post it for everybody to see, but then you can download it and have it to save. That requires that first level of membership. With that first level of membership, you also get access to the lifetime of replays over on YouTube for all the live classes. Link in bio. Thank you, Ree. And you also get a 5% discount on anything else. And I think there might be one other thing in there. But the second level of membership adds an additional twice weekly group coaching. The third level of membership gets you 1 hour of private coaching per month. Yes, dear? Okay, what?
I had an itchy bug on
Okay,
my
stop.
finger and I got it off. Look, it's in my fingernail.
Okay. Okay, go please.
Glad I got it off.
Yeah, me too. Okay, so the first level of membership on Patreon is $11 a month. The second level of membership on Patreon is $33 a month. And the fourth level of third level. First, 11, 33, 55, I believe. They will stay the same there on Patreon forever. Here on TikTok, however, I do leave the subscriptions here because I know that convenience is a thing and people want to just subscribe, and that's fine. But TikTok gives me maximum 50% of what I make here on TikTok. So starting September, the subscriptions here will go up to reflect what they take out of it in comparison to what what I lose on Patreon, right? Which is very little. So if you would like to subscribe here on Patreon or on TikTok for the convenience, feel free to do so. Just note you will get a notice in September when they go up. But if you want to stay in that level membership as without worrying about price changes, that's all on Patreon. Patreon.com/move with change. Okay. That's all I'm saying about that. If you have any questions, if you have any concerns, you can always send me a message. If you want to snag a quick coaching session with me, I also have what's called coaching by donation, and that's in the shop on my Patreon page. That is a minimum of $3.33 donation, and that's only because Patreon required me to have a minimum. Beyond that, you can make a donation, or you can just leave it at $3.33, and you get 15-minute sessions. Those 15-minute sessions, you have full access to this toolbox. We can do anything from, you can vent to, we can practice mudras and mantras to, whatever you want to do. Melissa, you have a great day too, hun. Kimberly, I live part-time in an RV, yes. We travel. I've been joking about a game of Where's Rev, hopefully when we get back on the road here. My son and I homeschool, and part of the homeschooling program is travel. So, yeah. Fuck sitting in a classroom and reading geography. We're going to go and actually travel the world. Congratulations, Kimberly. Nice. I've been in and out of them for a long time, and it's really been cool to see so many people moving into them. Not cool because it also means that it's a housing problem, but If you have any questions or need any pointers, please let me know. I've been doing this for a long time, including renovating them, buying and selling them. Galactic Overlord, you are so right. I told my son that yesterday or Wednesday about the Where's Waldo thing, and he just had it. He was like, yeah, he had a good laugh. He's like, but what about your glasses? It's like, shouldn't you have your glasses? Fuck, you're right. Is it a specific homeschool program? No. It is just what we do. And actually, as he gets older, the intention is to have him do presentations. Like, what I'm hoping to do, as he's 8 now, and in the next couple of grades, I want to take him around the world and around the country first and then around the world. And we will go and we will sort of research the topics that he is interested in. For a while, I don't know if it's still valid anymore, but he wanted to go to either South America or to China, specifically to research monkeys. He was all into monkeys and different types of monkeys. And so he wants to go and he wants to do this research. And then what's the word I'm looking for? I said, okay, but the requirement is then you have to turn around and make me a report. You have to be able to teach what you learned, because that's how we really integrate that knowledge, right? Look at it from different perspectives so that we can teach it and share it with other people. So the idea is to create an online platform for him so that he can actually bring this information and present that information, kind of like I'm doing here, the stuff he learns through his experiences, and then possibly even go in person and share and teach little classes in public schools and community libraries and things like that. Feathered Fox, you just decided to homeschool your kids and you want to get an RV to travel for the same reason. It is so worth it. I will tell you, a couple years ago, he was very dismayed when he realized that public school kids get the summer off, because he was like, well, I want the summer off. And I'm like, yeah, but dude, they spend like 8-9 hours a day for like the majority of the year sitting in a classroom. That's what you really want to do? No, not really. He just likes hanging out with other kids. So there's a couple times he'll pop into public school for a little bit, and then he'll come back out. He's like, okay, I'm good. Veronica, you're moving out of the city soon, looking for alternative housing. You want a nature retreat for recovery. I am actively building community. I'm actively looking to build community in person. If anybody is interested and genuinely interested in creating physical community, which requires both internal and external resources to do so, right? But not always the same resources. So if we can come together and build the community together, this is the ideal. I have been cultivating community for a long time and have a lot of the framework and ideas about how the operations go already structured, and I'm happy to share that with people. I've done a lot of research about community building because it's been an intention for me probably my whole fucking life. But yeah. Yes, Nova. Like a compound, grow our own food, you're in. What I'd really like is to have enough people in this space that we can collectively raise the kids, collectively work in the gardens and the animals and the whatnot, so that all of the things on the property can be accomplished, but without every single person. So enough people coming and going from the space so that when my son and I, or four of us, decide to go on a homeschool trip, take some of the kids to somewhere, that the space will still remain operational. And there's some really cool intentional communities that have been operating for a while that have businesses that they run within them, and then that business is the primary income source that becomes the shared income source for the community. Can people have their own and whatnot? Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, I know a lot of people want to build community right now, and we really should. Like, if you have the resources, whether it be within or external resources to do so, please set your intentions on it and start building community, because that is the foundation for the new earth. That's the foundation for the higher state of living that we are all moving into. And so I encourage you, if you feel that call, if you feel that drive, please follow that to wherever it leads you. We need you. We need you. But there are some really great books on it, and there's a lot to be said for the actual experience of living in community and having the communication skills to live in community, to resolve conflicts, having the structures within said community so that everybody knows, and everybody can agree upon the expectations, right? Everybody can agree upon the way we exchange things, the way we resolve problems. I don't believe that anybody should, like in our society, right? You're born into a society and you just have to follow the rules by the fact that you were fucking born there. I don't think that's an appropriate way to, and I think it's a manner of control. Nova, you've wanted that for a long time. It's just finding the right people. It really is finding the right people. And it's also, again, being ready ourselves. This is something for me. I've done a lot of the paperwork. I've done a lot of the research. I am starting to walk down the nonprofit road as well, so that I can create a nonprofit umbrella for the community, so we have a lot more freedom in our way of operating and the things that we can do and the things that we can offer. But I've done all that stuff, but I still couldn't acquire that community because I hadn't done the healing work necessary to really show up for said community. I've been in and out of other communities, and through those process of in and out of the communities have recognized many ways, the ways that I wasn't inclusive, the ways that I wasn't being cooperative, the way that I was coming across, I was showing up in arrogance or in judgment and things like that, in my expectations. It was a long process of clearing out my own junk and my own apprehensions and my own judgments about others. Because if you're going to sustain community, you must recognize that there's going to be the need for both tension and peace. For growth, we have to have tension, and we can't expect community not to grow. So we need to be prepared to meet that tension with curiosity and willingness, with love and intention. Veronica, I'm glad that you came in, my friend. And for anybody too who wants to join us on the Discord, we have a Discord space. I did just also make an WhatsApp chat. I don't know if that's going to be easier for people or not. Hey, Steven. I don't know if that'll be easier for people not to, but I'll put a link in the Discord. So my Patreon page, go follow the Patreon page, because it's got all the links for all the socials and a free link to get into the Discord and the memberships if you want to, but you can join the Discord totally for free. And the WhatsApp chat, I will put the link somewhere for that too, because that'll be a nice, easy way for us to just communicate and share ideas and talk. And that's what the Discord is too. I'm calling all developers, software developers, techie people, if you would like to exchange a membership for helping me build an app, I would deeply, deeply appreciate it. You still can't get the calendar, Nova? That's a crazy... Okay, all right. I'll get you. I'll get you, boo. I'm sorry. That calendar, I looked at it yesterday and the link was broken, so I tried to fix the link, but it still wouldn't send it to you. Okay. All right. We'll chat about it. It's not easy. I think the hardest part about community is being able to meet each other, especially when emotions are high. I studied nonviolent communication, and nonviolent communication has a lot of great tools, but it also has some pitfalls too. Because it asks people to say things a certain way, to communicate a certain way, and that can be really limiting for some folks, and it also denies our authentic expression in the moment, right? It's like saying, I hear your point, or I'm trying to listen to you, but I can't hear you over your tone. It belittles the person's experience or the person's truth and authenticity, and instead of me taking it on and going, wait a minute, I'm triggered by your tone. That's me. That has nothing to do with you. You have every right to have whatever fucking tone you feel like having. Now, again, if somebody's being outright abusive, that's a line crossed. But if I'm upset and I'm raising my voice and my arms are big, it's because that's the energy I'm feeling, and that's how I feel like I need to communicate it. And if somebody meets me with, hey, can you calm down? I can't fucking understand you when you're talking like that. It shuts down part of what I'm trying to express. Now, if someone can meet me and say, whew, I hear you and I see that energy that's coming through, it almost immediately relieves the pressure that made that happen in the first place. Our emotions are so often just waiting to be seen, just hoping to be accepted for what they are in the moment. And just because I'm using this big energy doesn't mean it's at you, and also doesn't mean because I feel this energy doesn't mean I have to weaponize it at anybody either. That is a skill that has to be cultivated. And that is a skill that I expect that we are going to, that is a skill that is a constant learning process. So despite doing my own education and experience and whatnot, it is still a learning process because every situation is unique. Nova, when you and I stand face to face with each other and run into a disagreement, it's going to be unique to us. But there is something that changed my view of seeking resolution when I was in my preteen years. I went on what's called Outward Bound. You guys know about Outward Bound or Upward Bound, right? I went on one of these programs when I was about 12 or 13, 12, I think. And the very first thing that they teach us is that if there is any discord, if there is any issue, problem happening with anyone in the group, mind you, it was 8 kids and 2 adults. 8 preteens and 2 adults. What we do when there's anything going on is we circle up. We circle up. You know what that means? Everybody has to stop what they're doing and sit in a fucking circle until it gets sorted out. Everybody. The whole community has to stop what they're doing and come together to hold space and to help see it through. Cleanse, that's really cool. I've thought about teaching for Upward Bound. I thought it would be really fun. Yeah, ditto, Nova. At first, it was annoying as shit. Really annoying, right? But you know what it did? Very quickly, I took it upon myself to start resolving things on the back end. As soon as I really was like, I don't want to sit in, it was frustrating for me. I really found it frustrating to do that. So what I did is took it upon myself to go and I'd see a little bit of discord and I'd be like, nah, Hold on. And we try to resolve it there. Now, obviously, there were things that we couldn't resolve, just us, and we really needed the whole group. But by the end of it, the real gift was in how powerful that space that was being held, that container was. It wasn't just me and you, Nova, disagreeing. It wasn't a she said, she said. It wasn't it wasn't that. It was the entire group said, we recognize the value in cohesiveness, and we want to support each and every person here in coming back to that flow, in re-engaging in a cohesive way, in an inclusive way. It's really powerful. And you know what I often hear is, it's not possible. You can't make everybody stop what the fuck they're doing just to deal with a little tiff. But ask yourself, what if we did the radical thing and fucking did that? Every time there was a disagreement at work. Obviously, well, see what I mean? Like, my brain wants to argue with it. But I know that the benefit of it is profound. And that the result of it is actually less discord and less passive aggressive, right? And less of that stewing happening, because one, most people don't want to stop everything they're fucking doing to sit in a circle until people stop bickering. And two, the energy that comes with the tension between two people is now spread through the entire community and is carried by the entire community. This is all of our responsibility. Our cohesion is our collective responsibility. Yes, yeah, Gigi. And also the energy or tension between two will affect or disrupt the environment for the whole group. This was the biggest thing that I found when I was visiting other communities, was that, I literally, here in Oregon, called a really cool community. It's one, I forget the name of it, but it's been around for like decades. It's a relatively well-known one, and they finally had an opening. And I was like, oh my God, I've been eyeballing you guys' community for years. You've got an opening, great. But she said immediately, she was like, yeah, well, this person, this person, and 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 they're not going to like this, but you can still apply, and you can try. I was like, I am not stepping in the middle of all of that. Because she was at the point where she's like, there's just no resolution for some of these things, and that's why we need new members. And I'm like, you're pulling people into your chaos, not solving it. One of the biggest hurdles I found again and again and again in community was conflict resolution. Conflict resolution is more of a sore spot, a little bit difficult, than even resource sharing. Because many of us are used to, or even like the idea of like, let's share what we have, right? Or share some of what we have and keep our own stuff, right? I'm not all about 100% egalitarian, because I believe that you have a right to keep things for yourself if you desire to keep things for yourself. But also we understand that somebody who keeps so much for themselves that they pull from everyone else makes the whole unhealthy. And therefore that person, that leak in the energy, can be taken care of, can be brought in to the whole instead of excluded. Instead of saying, oh, you're arrogant and mean and selfish, well, you have to leave. You're banished. That doesn't heal anybody or heal anything. And it makes you an exclusive space. But, hey, Leo. Healthy Leo, you say your ex wouldn't talk to you if you were expressing your emotions to him. It's a gaslighting tactic. It really is. To say you need to change how you're doing it, or change the words you're doing it, or if you're saying something and somebody argues with you, the definitions or the semantics of what you're using, especially if it's an emotional thing or it's a really important point, then you're dealing with gaslighting. And again, people can be gaslighting both intentionally and unintentionally, by the way. I just want to add that. We can just develop the habits where we're doing it unintentionally. We don't even realize that it's a really shitty communication tool. There's no reason to make others feel bad and outcast. And again, I think this is the story, the narrative of the current dynamic, the current paradigm that we're in, right, is to exclude. Mine is better than yours. I'm right, you're wrong. You're not welcome here. I have to have this label, you have to have that label. I identify with our differences instead of identifying with our similarities. And what does that do? We are naturally pack animals. We are not solitary creatures. We can survive on our own, but we thrive as a pack. We thrive in community. We thrive together. And so a paradigm that would keep us all divide and conquer is a very real thing. Again, whether it's intentional or not. Our strength is in our unity. Our collective power is exponentially greater than what we have on an individual level. And when we add to that by truly meeting each other and welcoming each other with curiosity and willingness, by valuing the truth, even if your truth is completely opposite of mine, and saying, that's amazing. What a beautiful reality we live in, is that my truth can be the T-Troll's belly button right here. This is my truth. This is my whole truth, and it's nothing but my truth. And it's a beautiful truth, and I love this truth, and I want to tell the truth all about my belly button truth. And then somebody else comes along and they say, no, 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 it's not a belly button, it's an asshole. It's a fucking asshole. What do you mean it's a belly button? Totally different perspective. Yours is still valid. It's just the other side of the T-Troll. When I consistently deny the truth that is not mine, I am only denying myself the fullness of experience. I'm not changing your opinion. I'm not changing your reality. I am just limiting my ability to receive, to perceive all that is available. Just made you feel better about a choose silence instead of peace and understanding. Hey, John. These analogies are really, these are the things that my mind grabs onto and plays with. I think one of the gifts that I have in this world, one of the skills that I have in this world as a storyteller, is that everything happens for me in pictures, in stories. When I write my stories, I see an image first. Something happens in my mind first, and I go and chase down a pencil and paper and I start to write that shit out. Because for me, it is about linking all of these pieces together, finding the common threads so that we can truly perceive and experience the full scope of reality, the full scope of what's available to us. What was I saying earlier, right? We look at this reality outside of ourselves and we say, even if you spent a whole lifetime exploring the earth, you would never be able to reach everything. You'd never be able to know and understand everything, right? You'd never be able to see everything. That's how wide and expansive it is. The exact same is true, if not truer, for inside. But again, culturally, we are taught, don't look inside. Everything you need is outside of you. You need somebody else to take care of you. You need somebody else to love you. You need somebody else to heal you. You need somebody else to treat your symptoms. You need somebody else to teach you. You need somebody else to guide you. You need somebody else to communicate with God. One of the gravest misdirections that we have ever signed up for, that we have ever subscribed to. Thank you, friend. Because it turns you directly away from the deepest knowing the deepest truths and the most expansive experience of this reality. And it turns you away from yourself. And if you have nothing else in this life, you've got you. You got you, babe. We are in subjective experience. Whether it's by nature or by design, by accident or on purpose, we are stuck in a subjective reality. And it seems like brain whatever to turn it around and say, wait, all of my experience is subjective. All of my experience happens inside of me, but all of the answers are outside of me? Return to earth. What's this? Those who look outside dream. Those that look inside awaken. I like that. I like that, and both. Right? Yes, and. What happens within me also happens outside of me. But if I am only looking outside of me, then I do not find the root of or I do not find the other side of that. And this is how we end up operating for entire lifetimes on unconscious programming. And there are energies and folks who harvest that unconscious, that attention, who harvest your unconscious programming, who write your programming for you. It's called the enculturation process. And we are all privy to it. We all go through the enculturation process. No matter what culture you're from, it is the experience of acquiring culture. It is nurture. We all get that programming before we're even fully conscious. Your brain doesn't come out of the dream time until the age of 8. Your brain is still in the dream time. Children are fucking sleepwalking until the age of 8. And before the age of 8, that is where a lot of the programming about how to interact with the world and how to see yourself and how to interact with others is, the foundation is laid for those things. So when you see, I don't know why I always use this example, but I see her in my head. When you see that 50-year-old woman at Starbucks throwing a tantrum because she got the wrong milk, that is a unconscious program. That was the road was laid when she was a child, because you see the child right here and right now. You see that 3-year-old throwing a tantrum over the cookie. That part. Maybe she's never looked at it. Maybe it's just gone unexamined. It might be working for her. Maybe there's people in her life who respond very well to that, and she can throw a tantrum and get the fuck whatever she wants. Hell, if it's working for us, we rarely have any reason to change it. But even still, sometimes when it's not working for us, we are taught to look outside of ourselves, so we blame everybody and everything else for what we're experiencing instead of going within and going, wait, where did this come from? Do I want to keep using this? Is this even relevant to right now? Because when I'm 50 and in Starbucks and it's the wrong milk, it's not the same kind of powerlessness that I may have felt when I was 3 and couldn't have the cookie. So let's cultivate that inner sense of power instead of trying to siphon from finite sources like other people's energy, or by throwing tantrums, or through addiction, or any other kind of habit, or any other kind of unconscious programming where we harvest finite resources of energy. If food is your thing, food is a finite resource. And if you use that to satisfy any sort of feeling of lack anywhere, you're using a finite resource to fill a space that is meant to be filled by an infinite source. And that infinite source comes from where we were talking about, the crown and the root, this central energy channel. When you do that meditation or we do that intention practice of connecting to the earth and connecting to the cosmos, you are taking care of, you are adjusting, you are opening your central energy channel to let that divine life force flow through you. God's love, divine light, light itself, right? We understand, again, through our science. I like to refer to science because a lot of people want to come in and go, oh, that's woo-woo stuff. And I go, there's actually science. There's actually, like, backed up, not only thousands of years of science, by the way, but also more recent science. So, shit, I forgot what sciencey thing I was going to say. Hi, baby. No, you can have them later tonight.
Can I have one?
Son, now is not the time to negotiate with me, please. I gave you my answer already.
That's not.
How? What have you had for breakfast?
Some nori.
Did you have some eggs?
No. No eggs.
I'll come in and cook breakfast or cook lunch here in a minute, okay? After lunch, we can have something.
Okay.
Okay? Love you.
Love you too. And maybe they're really cute.
Son, there are consequences for continuing to try to negotiate after I've already given you an answer. Yes? Thank you, sir.
I don't know your answer.
My answer is no.
Yeah.
I love you.
Love you too.
GG. I've already given that answer 3 times at least. Unconscious programming. This is why I teach what I teach. This is why I share what I share. This is why I give this information out for free. Because the foundation of it is not complex. It is very simple in its idea. When we align our intention and our intention, when we meet ourselves with curiosity and willingness. It's your boy in the back. You guys are okay. Just a bunch of boofers. Bunch of boofers. Mindfulness. Being mindful. Cultivating mindfulness. Cultivating an awareness. Mindfulness is about the exploration of deeper and deeper layers of subtlety. You can stay in the gross realm of the world, black and white, good and bad, right and wrong. Or we can dive a little deeper and begin to explore those intricate parts. When we do that for ourselves, what we discover within there is usually a great deal of unconscious programming, unconscious beliefs or ideas that we didn't even realize we had, values that are totally not even aligned with who we really are anymore. Like, there are all of these things because for those first 20 some years of my life, of your life, of any of our lives as humans, you are not done developing until about 25 or so. Early to mid 20s, your prefrontal cortex comes on. That's the last thing to develop. I guess early 20s, your prefrontal cortex comes on and your body continues to grow for a couple of years, maybe, some of us. But about that time, you finally finish developing. And once that happens, it's almost as if you are gifted the keys to a car that other people built for you. Your parents, your teachers, your government, your friends, your TV, the media, like all of these things while you were waiting in the waiting room for your vehicle to be constructed, you don't really get the keys to this until your prefrontal cortex comes online, until mid 20s. And at that time, it's your responsibility to then make the necessary repairs and upgrades and customizations that you want. You have to drive this thing your whole life. So if every time you get on the freeway it starts to shake like this, you better believe you should go check your fucking tires or tie rods or alignment. If you're a top-down convertible kind of person, and the people and the situations in your life built you a, I don't know, fucking armored vehicle, then dismantle the armored vehicle and find yourself a nice fabric top, cloth top. This is what religious deconstruction looks like. This is what deconstructing the ideals of your culture looks like. Stephen, thank you for the compliment. You know, we've been talking about this a little bit lately, and I've had a number of people, including you, and I appreciate the compliment about being cognitively sharp. But there's a weird, okay, so for those of you who may have seen the video or have been here for a while or who know who I am, you know that several years ago I went through a harrowing experience on a medication that put me through 2 separate seizure episodes. An episode of light blindness, which apparently was like some sort of migraine something or other thing, which I've never had. And then 2 different episodes that the doctors classified as seizures. They said they were really minor, so I didn't end up with some of the face stuff, but they can see them on the CT scan, how it changed my brain. I was somebody who was quick wit, don't miss a word, never stutter. Like, language was my tool. My voice has always been my mode of communication. But it's also been the thing that I've weaponized. It has also been the thing that has led me to imbalance, to harming others and myself in my unconscious, in my immature, in my unknowing. In my unknowing, I use my gift as a weapon, as sometimes we do. When those events and all those things happened over the course of about 2 years. So in that 2-year time span, when all that was happening, after that, I should say, after that last one, the deterioration, it's actually apparently really emotional still. Hold on, guys. I want to just hold space for what's coming up, because at first I felt like it took my power away. I can't speak as quickly anymore. I can't respond as quickly anymore. I can't remember the words all the time. And sometimes I stutter. And at first it was really, it wasn't humbling. It felt, like a curse. Since then, through the cultivation of mindfulness, through practicing mindfulness and cultivating the tools of mindfulness, I have found a different spot. Instead of me, it's not even pushing, instead of me driving the brain, the ego me, and accessing all of those amazing parts of it all at once. Instead, I am learning to receive what my heart and my mind have to share. And in that way, I'm learning how to trust what comes up, right? So instead of needing to weaponize it and to force it and to push it and all this stuff, that whole tension, push and pull, has had to stop. And now it is just a process of creating the space for what to arise, for what needs to arise to arise. That takes a lot of trust. And it also is really humbling, because when I see cognitively you're sharp, I say in my head, no, I'm not really. But I allow the space for what naturally needs to come up to come up. We talked a little bit about human design. I don't know a ton about human design, but my response, or my thing, my way to authority or something, is to respond. One of the best ways for me to access the deep wisdom, or the information that I have, not the deep wisdom, I mean the information that I have literally just gathered through 20 plus years of education and experience. The only way for me to really access this stuff has always been with somebody else asking me a question. I can't sit down and write a text about herbalism. I know a great deal about it, and I use it on a regular basis to help others and myself. But I can't sit down and organize it all into a text. But if somebody comes to me and says, oh, I'm feeling this or that, or I had this, or I'm in trouble with this, the herb pops up out of the toolbox and goes, ooh, 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 me, 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 me. So instead of me making the world happen around me, or my life happen, or things happen, or manifestation happen, I'm doing the other. I'm opening space and I'm receiving. It is a completely different experience, and I'm still going through the transition right now, but it's the difference between approaching life like this and approaching life like this. Not like this, but like this. I feel like a lot of times we approach life either like this, and then like this, and then like this, and then like this. And we get stuck in this push and pull exchange that ultimately ends up wearing us down into exhaustion. But when we learn this place, when we find this place, it is a place of being. It is a place of allowing. It is a place of receiving. And that there aren't words for it. When you finally reach, especially after being told for so long, do what you love and everything else will follow. God will give you everything you need. The universe will provide. Right? For those of us who have struggled, these kinds of things can be really dismissive and belittling. You're like, fuck, it does. But often it's because we push and pull ourselves away from the very, very things that we desire. Is it in saying, I am seeking this thing, means I am a seeker on the path and have not arrived at said thing. Words are powerful. Your intentions are powerful. Your attention is extremely powerful. But your presence is the doorway. Nice, Lena. Ooh, that'd be a good one to collect. This is what I was stuck in for so long. Even in my own spiritual stuff, as well as in the way that I worked with my clients, was I was either approaching life like this, or I was approaching life like this. It can be similar to imagining a pendulum. When we talk about meditation, right? If you are somebody who says you cannot meditate, sit here for a second with me. Meditation, your attention is like a pendulum. And when we're in meditation, what we want to do is see if we can get that pendulum to sit still for a moment, right? Or to be here in this middle still place for a moment. So I set my intention and I close my eyes and I bring myself into stillness. And for a moment, I experience a shift in my state of being when I close my eyes and set the intention. But almost immediately, my brain goes, yeah, right, good fucking luck keeping us quiet. And that pendulum is pulled off to the side. So then I remind my body and my brain and my, whoop, and I set my intention. This is why it's powerful to have an anchor when you're practicing meditation. Maybe my anchor is my breath, okay? So every time then my dog barks and my brain goes, oh, he's so annoying when he barks like that. My pendulum has been pulled away from center again. So then what I do is I pull it back to my breath and I say, oops. In my head, I have this cute little Mary Poppins character that goes, whoop, whoop, every single time I catch my brain off somewhere else. Every single time I hear her say that, I come back. Every time I hear my body go, God, this is uncomfortable, then I bring my attention back to the breath or my anchor, whatever it is, right? Pulling it away, bringing it to center. Pulling it away, bringing it to center. This is like, instead of fighting or being fearful about life, instead of being in the extremes, finding center. When my awareness is centered here, there is a kind of clarity. There is a kind of alignment that I experience. And this is not just talking about meditation. This is talking about anything in life. Any time, any moment in life. If I am fully present with all of my senses in the current experience, there is a certain kind of experience. There is a certain kind of openness, if you've been in the flow, right? Or if you've had one of those surreal moments where suddenly everything, you're like, whoa, the colors just seem a little different. These are the kinds of experiences you can have in this centered place. As soon as I start wondering about what's for lunch and what I'm going to do and which groceries I have and whatnot, my attention starts to be pulled away from center. And if I am also then dealing with a somatic thing of, I don't know, the way my body gets triggered when I'm doing dishes, right? So first of all, I start thinking about lunch and what we're going to have for lunch. And as I think about lunch and what we're going to do after, my body begins to respond to the expectation that I'm about to have to fucking do some dishes and do some chores and shit like that. Can you imagine? I am not even here anymore. My brain is somewhere else, and so is my body. But when I realize that this is happening, this creates a kind of tension. This creates a kind of surface tension, so to speak, that keeps our underpinnings, our unconscious programmings trapped in there. But when I bring everything to here, it releases that holding, it releases the tension created by this fight, flight stuff. And the things that need to arise naturally do. This is, I think, sometimes the hard part for us with meditation or with mindfulness, because when we find that quiet space, all of a sudden a scary thought comes up, or a painful memory comes up, or a fear comes up, and we say, oh shit, my brain is trying to attack me, my body is trying to attack me. You can imagine these things like gas in the body. Just the way that when you have gas in your gut, it can come up and belch and needs to be released, and holding it and swallowing it back down doesn't really do you any fucking good. Opposite end as well, right? Doesn't fucking do you any good to hold that shit in. Puppy, what are you beefing on? Doesn't do us a lot of good. So when we release that surface tension, that tension, the pirates in my brain are having a lot of fun with this, and they're making jokes about the asshole. Haley, what do I call this type of practice? You did a lot of this with yoga and meditation. Love it. Mindfulness. I simply refer to it as mindfulness, because mindfulness can be used in any time, any place, anywhere in your life. You don't have to specifically be meditating to do so, or you don't have to be practicing yoga, right? Movement soul. So through meditation practice, you were able to center the pendulum at other times more easily. Yes. So this is why I talk about quantum mindfulness, because the outcome of this, when you practice this, because it's a muscle that you have to exercise. If you want to get stronger in your arms, you know, or practice riding a bike, you have to practice this thing. You have to get more familiar with it, and it becomes a habit in your body and in your mind. When with that practice, right, you bring it in and you bring it in and you bring it in, then it's a lot easier to start noticing when it starts to pull away, because you feel the tension happening physically in you, or you notice it happening in your mind, and you're like, oh, whoa, my brain just ran off with itself. Hold on, I'm coming back to the present moment now. And you can bring your intention to the present moment, and your attention, align your attention and your intention, and now you are present again. And now you are fully here with your experience. And the reason I call it quantum is because we understand that space and time are relative to light. Space and time are relative to light. Your awareness is light. Your awareness is light. You know, thank you so much, my friend. You know that when you are driving down the road and your brain is off doing something else, it changes the quality of your drive. You may even drive home for a couple of blocks and not even remember seeing what was on those blocks. You ever got home and suddenly go, oh shit, I don't remember the last 3 blocks, because you were thinking something else. That was a quantum shift in your experience. I mean, for all intents and purposes, you had a kind of time travel experience. Small one. Just like when you're in flow and doing something you really enjoy, your quality of time changes. Just like when you're sitting there waiting on something really exciting or really terrifying, right? Your quality of time changes based on your attention and your experience, your judgment, your emotions. Yep, that's right, movement. We used to say it was I think it was Einstein that disproved the theory, because the original theory was that space and time are like the stage that everything happens on in the universe. And Einstein proved this false. That, in fact, the only consistent measurement everywhere, anytime in space is the measurement of light. Is light. And we know that when we shift our consciousness, when I put that light of my awareness on something, it changes on a molecular level. We can measure the fact that our attention, the light of our attention, shifts a thing. That is why when there's a physical thing happening in your body, simply giving it your attention can be enough to create some kind of shift. Now, if it's very loud and big, it might need more of your attention and time. I have more ability to choose my reality, to choose my responses, not reactions, because reaction is just a repeat action from before. A learned repetitive habit. But we can choose to respond. And to respond is to be responsible for my actions. Reaction is just to repeat the same bullshit over and over. But to respond is to take responsibility for my actions and for my choices, and for my external and internal reality, and for the way that they affect my external and me and everyone else. What about sleep apnea? What about it, my friend? Tools for sleep apnea? Breath work, breath work, breath work, breath work. If you experience sleep apnea, one of the first things that I would suggest is to start practicing pranayama, doing pranayama practices. You're very welcome. There are many practices out there. One of my favorite ones, I gave it earlier, so I'll give this one again too. It's called Nadi Shodhana, or alternate nostril breathing. It is a really simple one, but it's also really powerful. And I believe it's probably one of the most foundational pranayama practices because it works to balance both sides of your lungs, of your respiratory system, but also both sides of your energy body. And yeah, it's like, how far down that rabbit hole explanation do you really want to go right now? So alternate nostril breathing can be done like this. There's two ways you can hold your hand. Preferably you use your right, but I invite you, once you learn the technique, to explore using right and left, or using either one. I'm going to do this hand position just so it's easier for you to see what my hands are doing, and then I'll show you the other one. Nadi Shodhana, you can do it laying down, you can do it upright. The only thing I ask is you want to make sure that you have you have an elongated spine. You're not curved and slouched over, because you're working with the lungs and the energy body, so you want to align those channels. Okay, so Nadi Shodhana, like so. Tuck your first two fingers into your palm, leaving your ring and your pinky out and your thumb out. Close your right nostril with your thumb. Yes, you can do it standing too. Yep. Any position at all, as long as you're not slouching over. You want to go ahead and lift that heart up, relax the shoulders, lift from the top of the head. Close the right nostril with your thumb, with your right thumb. Inhale through the left nostril. Switch, closing the left with your left ring finger, and exhale through the right. Inhale through the right. Close, exhale through the left. Inhale through the left. Switch, exhale through the right. Inhale through the right. Switch, exhale through the left. So what you'll notice is after you inhale is when you switch your fingers. Again, it's those first two fingers down. Okay? You can sit with that practice as long as you would like. If you do that practice, I suggest doing any practice for a minimum of 5 minutes, but if you only have 1 minute, if you only have 3 minutes, if you only have 5 breaths available to you, do the minimum that you have. That is one of the most powerful, I shouldn't say that. I say that a lot, sorry guys, because all this is really powerful. All of it is really important. That's why I'm giving it away for free, because it is this is essential information. If I had my way, this would be what they taught in school. This is what we teach to our children. This is what we would put in the parenting books. Thank you so much, my friend. Was somebody asking for times and stuff? Oh, yes. Thank you, Gigi. Movement Soul, there is a schedule currently pinned, and for everybody, there's a schedule currently pinned at the top of my content on both YouTube and TikTok. So you can find my schedule there. You can also reach out if you have any questions. Also, the best place to get announcements and stuff like that of everything and to talk more and interact more is to join us on the Discord. The link for the Discord is on my Patreon page, patreon.com/movewithchange. The link is in my bio. Last time you did this, you passed out? Okay, then slow down, my friend. Mike. Okay. So sometimes we tend to try to do 110%. It's okay to tread lightly. So start here. Actually, you know what? If that one made you lightheaded, if that one made you pass out, then instead of using your hand at all, use your intention only. It is okay to start with just an inch. It is okay to start with just a pinch. It is okay to start with just a bite-sized piece of any of these techniques. We so often do ourselves more harm than good by going way faster with the techniques or by trying to get to the end and get to the result as quickly as possible, especially when it comes to internal work, self-work, coming home to yourself. These are subtle layers of the universe. If you try to treat a spider web the same way you treat a rock, you're going to deal with negative consequences with the spider web, right? These are spider webs. These are petals. These are delicate Not fragile. I was going to say fragile. My brain was like, I'm not fragile. These are delicate. And when we meet them that way, we honor them for what they are, and we value them for the wisdom that they have in their delicacy and their vulnerability. We can't respect something vulnerable by being aggressive with it. So, you can do alternate nostril breathing simply by setting the intention. Inhale through one side, intentionally, just don't close your nose. Just intentionally breathe through one side and exhale through the other. Inhale through the same side, exhale through the other. And sit here with this practice. Now, I encourage you, when you are finding a comfortable rhythm of breath, that you make sure it's not so long that you keep trying to catch your breath every few breaths. You don't need to have the deepest, biggest, full breaths every single time. In fact, sometimes it's, again, leads you away from the focus of the practice or the intention of the practice, which is just to be present with the breath, to balance the breath. If I am seeking to balance the breath but can only breathe in huge breaths, I'm not really finding balance, am I? So the other hand position there for alternate nostril breathing is this one. The other one is up like this. So you put your two fingers on your third eye. I find this one helps sometimes. Sometimes I just need this one. This one can be easier when I'm laying down too. Cleanse the head. Yes, it does help with anxiety as well. Any breath work, I would say, actually, that's not true. Not true at all. Scratch that from the record. There are pranayama practices that I would not use when I was in the middle of anxiety. Absolutely not. Cooling practices, balancing practices are great pranayama practices when you are feeling anxiety. Pranayama for anxiety. Guys, you just want to sit here all day long and I'll just keep answering all your questions. Remember that tomorrow we're going to have the live question panel. So if you want to actually get on live and chat with me for a few minutes, grab a membership. You can get it here on TikTok, that first level membership. Any level membership gets you access to the question panel tomorrow. Or you can go to my Patreon page. The prices are better on my Patreon page because they will stay that way forever. Okay, let me give you this pranayama for anxiety before I forget. I'm not sure what word I said. Pranayama. Thank you. Prana, Pranayama. It just means okay, so it translates to like control of breath, but it doesn't actually mean control of breath. It more means intentional breathing. Pranayama. Because yama translates to controls or intentions, or it's Sanskrit, so there's not the exact word, because the intention there is about the intention is about intention, not about forceful control, but about presence with these things. Okay, I almost forgot again. My favorite anxiety breathwork practice is called hummingbee breath or bumblebee breath, or Brahmari pranayama. This one is really good for when anxiety is anxiety is coupled with racing thoughts, or your mind is very busy. If you're having trouble sleeping because of busy thoughts, Brahmari pranayama is a really, really powerful one, especially if you have a parent's voice or a partner's voice or some shitty self-talk that you're trying to shift. This one can help as a lot too. See what I mean? My words today. Okay, some days are better than others. Brahmari. There are actually two ways to do Brahmari, but I'm going to give you guys the one that I find most effective. Again, upright, laying down, while you're walking. Please don't do it while you're driving, and at least stop walking for a minute while you do it, because you do have to pay attention. It's a two-handed one. You bring the pinkies to the tips, the corners of your mouth here. Nova, have a great class, babe. Pinkies to the corners of your mouth. Ring fingers to the corners of your edges of your nose here, the outside of the nostrils. You're not pushing in here. We're going to put gentle pressure, just intention, on the face at these points, not pushing in. So you've got your pinkies at the corners of your mouth, your rings at the edges of your nostrils, keeping your nostrils open, you're not closing them. Then you put your middle fingers, rest them over your eyelashes of your closed eyes. And then bring your pointer fingers to rest at the top of your eyes, just below your eyebrows, so that the very top of your eye socket is where you rest all these fingers. Go ahead and put intention into this connection. Don't press in. See if you can find the subtlety of intention. Resting your hands on your face with intention, no more than the weight of a nickel. If you imagine what it would feel like for a nickel to be resting on your face, that is how little pressure, or only how much pressure you should put on your face. So from here, you take a deep breath in, and then close your ears and exhale through the nose with a hum. So that'll sound like this. Open your ears to inhale. Close them back up to exhale. Feel free to do that one as many times as you would like, but be mindful, it is a very powerful one, so you might want to take a couple of, like, try it for a couple of breaths and then pause, try it for a couple of breaths and then pause. I don't know how to say your name. Sorry. Have a great day. See it, 2 breaths, and I'm already feeling the buzz in my head. You like that one, Lena? That's the really, really busy brain. Breath work. Bhramari Pranayama. Hummingbird breath. You are very welcome. That's one of my faves. Yep. So the other way to do it, there's that way to do it. So another thing about that practice too is when you're exhaling, I invite you to really explore the expression of your hum, because the ideal is to find a resonance. You know how bees have this perfect tune of their hum, and their hum shifts depending on what mood they're in. If there's a pissed off bee, it's a different hum than a nice little lazy bee, right? Find your resonance and seek out, hold space for a continuous, steady breath. When you start to feel it shake, release the practice, like let it dissipate, and then try again. As you practice this again and again and again, you will start to, I think this is maybe even the precursor to oming. I know that for a long time I struggled with Om because I felt like I didn't quite hit the note, like I didn't quite resonate. I couldn't find Om in my being. But after practicing Bhramari Pranayama, I was able to tune myself. And it makes mantras a lot easier when you can open these other channels. For those of you who've been around for a lot, you know that I talk about the energy body as an instrument. These chakras, right? These energy channels are like the holes in a flute. You have a unique song that only you play. Only you can play. But so many of us gum up our instrument with fear and apprehension and shame and guilt and all sorts of other stuff. So we don't resonate at that at our purest frequency, that authenticity, the authentic frequency. So these practices like that can help you start to clear those channels. That Brahmari Pranayama also works to clear all of the chakras, but particularly the crown and the throat. Just like when you strum a note on a guitar, right? If you've seen the waves of a note, when you strum a note, if it's out of tune, it's kind of this like bleh, and it dies off really quick. But when you hit that note, the resonance is expansive, right? And this is what we seek with Om, with mantra. Sanskrit, the reason I love Sanskrit, I love language in general, but I love Sanskrit because Sanskrit is the language of resonance. It's the reason you will see Sanskrit words sometimes spelled differently, because it's less about the actual letters and more about the sound created from the word. Sound, words, your speech, your voice is a frequency, is a resonance, has its own wave, just like every other sound in the universe, just like the colors of the universe, just like light itself. Everything in this universe is just molecules resonating at a different frequency. And we can literally tune ourselves to the universe. You guys hear me talk sometimes about how powerful this stuff is, that it's so powerful that my content gets taken down by the algorithm, by the platforms. They put away and hide my content from you guys. I actually just took a picture of it and I was going to make a post, because I was just saying that the other day, right? And they do it a lot with my videos, and they do it a lot with the lives. A lot of times when I start talking about some of this stuff and sharing practices, the numbers will go way down. And yet, yeah. So I shared a practice. I posted a video of me sharing one of a mudra for the solar plexus that helps to realign us with our solar plexus. And our solar plexus is our center for will. Our solar plexus is one of the main areas we need to work on if we are working to to find our authenticity, to stand in our truth, and to truly be powerful within that truth, to find our personal power, to find our personal captain. All the chakras are involved, but the solar plexus is a really important part of that. That video is right next to another video that got like 900 views, but the one right there that I shared on another account that got plenty of views just fine, but not that part of that live. The tool itself, when I share those things, it gets hidden. Why? Because there are people and energies and systems that profit from you being unconscious. You make them a lot of money by being unconscious and by feeding the machine with your fear, with your apprehension, with your sense of lack, with your trust in a system that tells you to seek all of your answers outside of yourself, when almost everything is inside of you. God, Kelly, believe in God. God is everywhere in everything. God is the life force that brings everything into creation. And God exists within us. God is that life force that flows through us. God is in the breath. God is in the exchange of the breath. Creation is in the exchange of my breath. I'm looking at that pine tree over there, and I know that as I exhale, that tree inhales my exhale. Sure, not maybe the exact same moment, right? And I inhale that oxygen. I am intimately connected with this world and this universe and with God. And there is a great deal of power in that. There is a great deal of freedom in there. There's a great deal of love and flexibility inside of that. Systems that try to make you smaller are not systems that support your authenticity, your wellness. Yes, user 263-8860473795. Yes, part of it is that they are polarizing engagement. Yeah, they share certain content, but on all the platforms, certain content does not get shared, including YouTube. I have it. I'm on every single platform, and I post on every single platform to varying degrees, and every single platform hides certain types of content. Barkey, Christ taught us how to harness our spiritual energy. He was the master of this stuff. Yeah, and he learned from other great teachers too. Christ was not a last name, right? Christ is a consciousness, is a state of being. He aligned himself with the highest. Kelly, we do invite everybody. Welcome to this space. For those of you who are new here, hello, my name is Reverend Deborah. I am an interfaith minister, a movement facilitator, and your shenanigan shaman. Because do we talk about serious shit in here? Yeah. But do we take ourselves too seriously? Absolutely not. The one thing I do ask is that everybody come to this space with curiosity and willingness, because this is what we call a CAYA space. CAYA stands for come as you are. Because authenticity is the purest expression of the divinity that flows through you. Authenticity is the purest expression of creation as it was intended to flow through you. And when we approach each other with curiosity and willingness, we give ourselves the opportunity to learn rather than with arrogance, which just does this. And for all intents and purposes, please, 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 know that I am not your guru, because the guru you need, I do not have all the answers. I share the information that I have gleaned and the understandings that I have come to and the experiences that I've had. And if there are seeds within them for you that you would like to plant, then by all means, here they are. But it's not by force, it's not by manipulation. And we also ask that when you come in, you don't use those either in here. Because force, manipulation, gaslighting, passive aggressiveness, these are not authentic. These are the push and pull of inauthenticity. These are the push and pull of ego and fear and judgment. So, just like in a temple, just like in a church, all are welcome. But if you choose to use this space and to be disruptive in this space, you will be asked to leave. So usually we do that by muting people. But if you have been outright, like, I rarely block people, and I usually mute them just for the live, and you're welcome to come back and try again, because you are welcome here. The mark of a tolerant society is intolerance of intolerance. Authenticity is love for self and love for other, which means healthy boundaries as well as curiosity and willingness. Right? So thank you guys for everybody who is here, everybody who has a part in cultivating that space. I can't do that by myself. That is how you show up too. It is an exchange. It is a shared space, and there's nobody better than anybody in this space. We are all on level playing field. We are all in this matrix. We are all walking our unique path, and wherever you are and wherever I am, we can always be side by side. You are not ahead of me, and I am not ahead of you. But I might have tools that can help you along your journey, just like you might have tools that might help me. And even if we don't have tools that either person could use, we can still sit for a spell and share our perspective on the elephant. And in that, I might just learn something new. If nothing else, I receive connection. And that is what we're designed to do. We are conduits for energy, for divine prana that flows through us, and we are pack animals. We are intended to share space, to be together. And yet, we have been taught all of these ways to relate to each other and to the world that are divisive, that separate us, that isolate us, that push us further and further apart from each other, that tell us to fight and bicker with each other. Yes, thank you, Gigi. I am on all the channels at Move with Change. I have played with various platforms. I am looking for a social media manager. If anybody is interested in doing so, and if you have some experience and you've got some ideas, definitely reach out to me. But yeah. Hey, Whizzle, what's up? Thank you, Cleanse. It is. It's 11. It's 1:15. It's 1:15. So I am gonna stop and have lunch. He's got some video time. He's watching a show probably. I want to thank you all again for sharing this space with me. Thank you for helping me cultivate this safe space, because I can't cultivate that safe space by myself. It requires me to show up authentically and for you to show up authentically, and for us to collectively hold space. Remember, we were talking about before about circling up when there's a problem? When there's an issue, instead of isolating the people who are having an issue, we want to be inclusive as possible. So I don't mute right away, right? I don't dismiss people right away, but I do ask for you to cultivate this space with me. And if you are not ready or right now, it's okay, and there's no judgment. There's a million spaces that you can be with. You can be how you want to be, like that. But this space will always be here when you are ready. When you are ready to move off of social media and get a little bit more personal, you can join us on the Discord. My Discord, the link for the Discord is on my Patreon page. If you don't follow me anywhere else, please go follow me on Patreon, because you will get links and announcements and cool fun extras and stuff like that over there. I put recipes and blogs, and I'll probably post things about mudras and whatnot. If you want to go connect with the community, the CAYA community, you can join our Discord. The link is on the Patreon page. If all of that sounds great and you want to get some one-on-one time with me, you can grab a membership. We have twice weekly group coaching on Zoom calls, so it's a nice safe container that we create there. And then I also offer private coaching as well, but my private coaching is extremely limited because I give a lot of my time and attention to the people I'm coaching with. All of that is on my Patreon page, patreon.com/movewithchange. And I am at Move With Change on all the platforms. If you don't follow me anywhere else, at least follow me on TikTok, and at least follow me on YouTube. Those are the primary platforms where I put my content, but I am often live on other platforms as well. And everything I do goes into the Discord, and that gives us a platform, a space to talk and share information where the algorithm doesn't actively hide it from you, where the algorithm doesn't tell you the comments not allowed, right? Or the platform doesn't tell you, it tells you you can't share that, it's low quality QR content. No, it's not. There's not QR codes in it. It's just energy work. And now that you're using AI to see the frickin' algorithm, okay. I love you all so much. Steven, I hope you have a wonderful day. Healthy Leo, my love. Thank you for holding space in Instagram. And thank you all here on TikTok for helping me cultivate this space. I love you so much. Reach out if you have any questions. Remember to go to the Patreon page to check out all the goodies there. And if you just want a link to something instead of going and searching for it, you can also just send me a message. I do my best to respond to every single message I get. Okay? I love you. All right. Good night, Instagram. Good night, YouTube.